Sick that we're doing it live.
I'm gonna get the chat up on my phone so I can have the chat on my phone.
Online.
Wait, who's doing the catch up today?
It's me.
You are.
It's me.
Don't be a cunt. Wait, who's doing the catch up today?
Oh, who's playing out loud? Mike. Caught in the act.
Okay.
And no
We're
fee
on
to
Twitch.
pay the fine.
We're on Twitch.
Then pay with your blood.
Then pay with your butt.
All right, good. So in that case, if we're on, let us begin today's Szechuan.
Scrolls and
Szechuan chicken.
incantations. Those with the talent to cast them.
What were you all eating?
Yep. Oh yeah, of course. So first of all, dinner's in the chat. Dinner's in the chat, everyone. Put your
Get 'em
dinners in the chat. Don't be shy. Tell us what you're eating this evening.
Even
I
if
think
it's
we have
maths,
0
that's
viewers.
okay.
Oh, we have 4.
That's right.
Yes.
Who's joining us,
That's
Rupert?
2 more than usual, so
That's-
50% increase.
It's Chris and me, so it might be
me.
It might be.
Yeah, yeah.
It might just be us.
Who is our
It's
mystery?
It's just us.
If you beckon, they will come.
Did you say someone's joining us tonight?
Maybe.
No one's joining
I've got a
us.
maybe.
People are just watching us.
Yeah, like who?
Yeah, but we're an interactive show.
That's right.
So they
Are
are.
we? Or am
He's
I?
right, you know.
He's right, you know. Okay, so boil up a pot. Take a
One
seat.
second, I need to feed some melons for my seagull.
Oh, God.
You don't
Don't
interrupt.
give it melon.
You don't interrupt that bit of the show, Mike. That is the bit you don't interrupt.
Shame.
For
Great shame.
For shame.
Shame on you.
Boil up a pot. Sitteth down your body by the hearth, and enjoy a beverage of your choice with us, the Journeyman Questers.
Oh, it's a journey. Oh, what a lovely journey we're going
We're
on.
on a journey.
Oh, I
It's
hope
going to
there's
be
Shame
a
on you.
fun
Boys on this
July.
journey.
And a chug-a-lug to that. I'm drinking hot chocolate, a delicious oat chalky treat for me, the
Oh,
DM.
you
Chalky treat for me.
fucking legend.
I'm drinking an unbranded IPA.
My favourite brand, unbranded.
Und brand.
Unbranded.
Theo, what's your dinner then? What's your dinner's in the chat?
I'm breaking up a bit, so I don't know what's going on.
No.
I got some sweet potato. I got some corn chicken pieces.
Oh,
Oh,
And I got a variety of different chutneys just layered on top.
fucking multi
Fuck.
chutney.
the multi.
Jesus.
Aubergine pickle, which if you haven't had is
Oh,
Oh
Hey,
yes.
that
So
sounds
good.
good. The multi-chut
Oh
is
my
next
God.
level elite.
Is it the one? Is it the one that's like a turquoise lid?
yes.
That brand.
Oh,
Yes.
he knows it.
Oh, their mango chutney.
Mm-hmm.
They-
Ah.
sponsor us. Okay, so
that's a mean preserve.
even though Mike isn't here, we will carry on. And as always, our lovely resident warlock paladin Aidan, who plays Richter Weiss, will be joining us late as usual. So let's play a bit of town music. Previously on the German Questers, the Gypsies of Fortune, hot after the aftermath of the rebellion of Soulreach, bedded down within the temple, the lunar temple in the southern east part of the city. And the next day they spoke with Talura, who had been possessed by some demonic entity, and spoke to them briefly. A strange and dark voice had spoken forth, revealing much secrets and gifting a tattooed flame-like glyph down Richter's arm, which you had yet to get rid of. Ruth, Zook, you did attempt to during the next few days, but alas to no avail. The magics being very potent requires much concentration and skill to be able to rid Richter of such a curse. You found out that in a week's time, a week and 3 days' time to be precise, I'll get the exact terminology up. The Cardinal of the Lunar Gate, Finea Quell, was to come through, probably via teleportation or some other kind, to the Elvish embassy within Solreach. One of the high priests, a cardinal within the church of Saloon, from Xanthar City. They were to appear to escort Celeste being the essentially leader of this town, although her husband Christoph, your nephew Rufus, the true original leader of the bloodline, and she's married into it, but people prefer her. This Cardinal of the Lunar Gate was to come to see her child that she had, of course, given birth during this rebellion that you had helped with. The child itself proclaimed to be a blessed child of Saloon itself, a child with blue hair, shimmery skin, and even the small sprouting nubs of what looked to be eventually angel wings. A strange creature, although very human looking in all other aspects, was said to be going to be taken along with her mother to Xanthar City in a week and 3 days to be blessed by the very, very highest of imperial priests within the Empire's capital, the city of Xanthar, where both Brother Draug, aka Dylan Grey, and Dutch Grey are originally from. Although very different circumstances, living in the criminal underbelly of such an enormous city. So with that time on your hands, you set about to a little bit of kind of half relaxation, half questing, adventuring, doing some tasks, some local jobs on the notice board, and generally being heroes for a community of people that don't particularly have powers such as yourselves to their immediate use. So you had sort of two sections to your downtime, 5 days and a kind of 5 day period. There was much research done in the first week where you learnt many things to do with your current quest to the west, to do with an ancient necromancer, to do with the Shivra, to do with all manner of kind of things that you looked up within the archives in Solreach. There was also a lot of reading that was done. Dutch continued to read his book, his Tome of Understanding, and Rufus continued to read his book, the Squat Nimbleness book, with his new Archivist spectacles, which he was gifted by Heath Elwyn. And of course, you did spend some time. You went down to Elwyn Tor, his tower. You freed the prisoners that you had there, Wolf and his sort of few cronies that had survived. You tried to persuade Wolf not to look so harshly on what you had done, to see reason as to why you had committed the acts that you had. And although he seemed to understand your reasoning why, he still, in his firm belief, said that he must at least tell people of what had happened. Although you imagine the way in which he's going to tell people now probably will potentially sway in a different path, rather than they murdered a bunch of people outside the tower. Did
As
we?
I remember, they were armed. Ipso fatso, not fucking murder.
Yeah, precisely. So, who knows how it's going to look upon. Dutch, you did some carousing around town, and you witnessed through the through the use of something, but essentially a procession arrived from the Elven Embassy, coming out of the Elven Embassy. What looked to be priests and kind of diplomats, ambassadors, all sorts of kind of elven, high elf, moon elf governors and all sorts in a procession coming to visit Soulreach with this birth of the child. And you saw what you assumed was the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate herself, Finea Quell, a tall and imposing figure, as always. These high elves tend to be, with elaborate yet sort of decorative and demure dress. We described it, for use of a better term, a mixture between the capital from what the fuck is it called, Hunger Games, and sort of a medieval priest-like vibe. You know that Xanthar City, the capital of the Elven Empire, is very kind of extravagant. It's often referred to as the center of the world, and it's sort of a bit of a culmination of lots of different kind of cultures, as well as the overseers being the hierarchical elves themselves, the moon elves. Standing either side of her, you saw these creatures, long-limbed, very tall, a metal helm with no slits for eyes or mouth or nose, large sort of clawed-like hunch to them, with like purposefully made, shredded-looking kind of priestly cloth. Not shredded in battle, but rather kind of like that kind of ribbony tattered to them. And you knew these to be inquisitors of the capital. As a original resident of the capital, Dutch, you knew that these things weren't to be fucked about with.
Nope, not at all.
Back in your days in the Dock Rats, it was essentially you were to be burnt and left. You were to be shunned, nothing to do with you if you ever had dealings with one of these, because it was just always bad news. And there were two here. There were a few jobs on the notice board, a lost cat, some bandits going by the name of the Seers. Just going to find my notes on that section, actually. Oh yeah, it's a Word document, that's why. And also a rumour of a town near the Aesine, a settler village, that there was a curse upon it. You saw a woman there by the notice board who was spouting out potentially rubbish, potentially not, about a curse and the forest moving. And some of it sparked your interest. You decided to kind of split up for the second part of the week, and Ruthus and Zook headed west. Zook in the morning of that day casting Windwalk so that all of you could kind of split off and shoot across the province, the Glinting province, to do various jobs that you wanted to do. So, Zook and Ruthus, you went towards Sprin Heath. The spiritual guide in Sprin Heath supposedly had gone senile and not been able to protect the town with his usual markings and warding. You approached the town, you spent a few days investigating, and eventually you spotted what looked to be a flock of ravens coalescing on a tree. Zook, with his incredible perception, saw that this indeed was a collection of ravens, almost in the shape of some kind of humanoid creature, casting some kind of spell with its hands on the town. You began to follow this creature and the flock of ravens as it turned back into the Aesine forest itself. The Aesine being your home, Zook, as the druid, now the archdruid of air for the Aesine. You hadn't spent much time in this section of the forest, and the the area, or at least the land here, seemed kind of swampy to an extent, but also quite creepy, like the trees having not sprouted very much kind of greenery to them at all, even though it's late sort of in summer. I mean, at this point, the leaves are kind of beginning to turn brown and falling off, and you're heading into autumn. But even so, it was strange. And you eventually came across a small clearing with a stilted hut, smoke drifting from its chimney. You decided to creep up onto what you assumed was potentially a hag within this abode. And Ruthus, creeping up gently up the stairs, decided to play an act, pretending that he was a mere innocent villager that had been hurt in the woods, transforming himself to look different, and unfortunately rolling quite badly. Zook, you flew atop the hut, waiting for an ambush point, and all that emerged from the darkness of this entryway was the long nose of this hag as it spoke to you, recognizing Ruthus, even in his different form, as someone that he'd previously met, but many years ago as a younger man. And at that moment, you jump down, Zook, grabbing the nose of this hag and using your Cloak of Fey Seasons as a link to the Feywild to cast Planar Shift. No, Plane
Shift.
Yeah, Plane Shift. By banishing it to its previous dimension, which you hoped was the Feywild. And it worked. You saw that the other two hags were emerging from either side of the clearing, a coven of 3. And as the leader was shunned to the Feywild, the others disintegrated and began to flee off in some kind of vile magic. You returned to the small village, and the wards that had been placed around had kind of sprouted and grown. And the confusion and senile kind of nature that had been placed on the spiritual guide of the village was no longer there. He was free with all his faculties to him again. And he gifted you with what they could, some gold and some minor items, and you headed back towards Saltwich. And so, unless I've forgotten anything, was there anything else that anyone did? Richter, oh yeah, he's not here. Richter did a lot of rebuilding. He helped, his kind of good Samaritan paladin nature. He helped about the town, moving rubble.
He taught me some Ignan.
He taught you a bit of Ignan, yeah, with down by the river with Cinder, sorry, and he was rewarded some the town blacksmith, whose name is Strognor Redspire, as help for helping the town and set it up for the festivities to come. Took his armor to essentially buffet it and give it a little masterwork quality, as well as forging him a new helm, sort of as payment. During this exact same time, Dutch and Draug decide to head east. You had heard that there was a bounty, for a dead or alive bounty, for a dangerous highwayman and his crew known as the Seers, known to hang out near the sun-kissed bluffs. This is going to be, of course, another skill challenge. So currently,
did I finish the book? Sorry, just so I can modify my whiz.
You will finish it at the end of this downtime section.
Okay, cool.
So you currently are, other than the bounty, unsure where the sun-kissed bluffs are. You know from just the guard, they pointed you in a general direction towards the east. That is all you know. So we'll begin the skill challenge here. So who would like to helm the first stage of the skill challenge? And bear in mind that this could be quite a long skill challenge, and once you've used one of your tagged skills, you are unable to use it again. in the skill challenge.
Okay.
Would I be able
Do
to
we have a map?
survive?
You have a map of the province, which is what we can see here.
Okay,
But
cool.
there is no Sunkist Bluffs on the map.
Could we not get a guard to put it on the map?
What skill are you going to use? It's a skill challenge.
Intimidation.
Can I use vast amount of money?
In conjunction with a skill, sure. If you have persuasion as a tagged skill.
I have intimidation. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not shouting at guard.
Could I use survival, just to track our way?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess it'd be. Yeah, is that possible?
Survival's like not used enough, and I think it's quite specific survival to, like, you know, tying knots, scout sort of related stuff. And I feel like following a map is that kind of thing. It's a survival.
Yeah, just like keep us in the right direction. Keep us
like a Raymir's sort of type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Roll me a survival check.
Yeah, you'd know a direction and you'd be able to figure it out on a map.
Definitely.
8.
An 8. Okay.
Use an inspiration.
I don't know if I've got one.
If you don't know, then you don't have one, unfortunately.
I feel like I used it after I did my catch up.
Okay, so you head around town before you fly off, asking people. You begin to exit the town towards the east, direction you kind of know, and you begin flying in your wind form. But from the way up here, it's hard to track like you usually would. You're in this misty wind form, and you can't smell like you usually would. And also being Draug, being blind and flying in this strange wind form, you can't really see a lot, and it's actually quite hard for you to move, and you're having to rely on Dutch quite a lot. Dutch not being the most perceptive person, and you go astray, and you find yourself essentially flying across the Shimmertooth Peaks over in this sort of direction towards the Shimmer Pass, and then having to come down that night in the woods down here, and essentially waiting until, unless you want to trek through the night, wasting pretty much the whole day trying to find it. So, who's helming the next step of your journey?
Good job, guys.
Cheers.
Killing it.
Yep.
I feel like if you
Get those
got back
bandits.
on track, then I'd be able to help. But
Where are we? Are we? How long were we flying for?
You flew around, you flew in circles, like you spent all day flying about, and you're just not sure where you're going. And you're currently kind of in the base of the Shimmertooth Peaks, sort of near the Shimmer Pass, which is here.
Have you got Rick there as well? Can you use his skills?
Nah, Victor's not there.
Yeah, I'll use perception to like sort of see if I can find a good way out of where we are.
Okay, go for it. Roll a perception check.
Much better. Pardon me. A 27.
Ooh.
You
Turn into Zook.
You continue throughout the night, maybe it gets late. You know that you probably can't push on.
Yeah.
And you.
So can I say like, using because obviously I'm not really affected by the darkness because I can't see. So I'm using my sort of other senses to be able to, like maybe the sound of stream or something like that, to be able to find our way back on track.
You wander around for a while, and you eventually think that you've pushed on enough for the day, and you come to a rest. You sleep, and the next day you continue on through the forest. You use your perception to kind of work your way back towards what you assume is one of the main roads that's heading sort of towards the Shimmer Pass. you can see what look to be kind of some rolling bluffs further along. You follow the kind of merchant paths that you imagine caravans would take, and you eventually come to an area that you assume matches the same description as the Sun-Kissed Bluffs. As the sun is now kind of like starting to come up in the morning and higher in the sky, there is indeed these kind of rolling hills slightly past the Shimmer Pass that catch the light in this kind of like particular way, and you begin to head towards those. Crouching down and coming up towards these bluffs, you can faintly see with your perception, maybe through the eyes of Ook or even Dutch, faint wisps of smoke. Maybe a dozen or so. You imagine probably a camp's worth. Hidden in kind of the bluffs are slightly off the map, further east of this section here, and they're kind of surrounded by forest.
Nice.
How do you wish to approach?
Stealthily.
Yeah, of course.
In which case, why don't you roll me a stealth check then? You have it.
Both of
tagged.
us?
You don't have it as a tagged skill, do you?
Yes, I do.
Is this part of the skill challenge?
So one of you can helmet, and that counts as it. So you both have it. So maybe Dutch, you haven't done one yet.
Do you want me to roll it? Can I roll it?
I don't
mind. Yeah, if you want to do it.
You lead the way.
As,
I mean, equally,
it's all right.
If you don't think you're going to use stealth again, you could essentially give him advantage and use.
Oh no, sure. So Dutch, do you want to? If Dutch does helms this stealth as on the approach, and then if we're able to use it again,
well, you are
for the other
you
character.
both got it as a tag skill.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, perhaps Dutch helms it this way.
Yeah.
Go for
And
it.
then we'll save yours in case we really need it. That is cocked. I'm just going to show you
It's fine.
where it's gone.
I believe you.
Between the mouse mat and the computer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I rolled a natural 2.
Oh, did you say he gets advantage, or we're just rolling separately if we use
No,
it?
I have inspiration though as well, which is a D10, isn't it?
You get to reroll it.
Inspiration now is you have to argue why you should use inspiration in the moment, and I can make you re-roll it.
Well, considering I've been reading a book all about being wise, what I try and do is I offset the side of us that we're going to approach from to be against the smoke, so the people who are looking at us have the smoke blowing in their eyes from around the fire. I'm also, after watching like Brother Drag be so fucking sneaky and looking at the way his foot falls and he avoids stepping on twigs and he steps with his heel and then the side of his foot to be silent, I'm going to do all that shit.
Go on then. Re-roll.
Reroll, sick. Okay, so I rolled it as an 8, but plus 6, so a 14. It's more than plus 6, it's plus 7, a 15.
15. Okay, that's good. 15 was the DC. So you approach the hills, keeping low, and it's fairly forested around the hills, but on the actual bluffs themselves, these kind of craggy outcrops, you can see there is indeed a camp nestled between them. There's a small, what looks to be kind of a waterfall, and then it's not a lagoon. What's the word? There's a waterfall that falls into like a pond, but it's not a pond.
I know what you're saying.
A glade.
Yeah,
Tarn.
what's that called?
Glade is an opening, like
not a
a
glade.
forest, right?
Yeah.
A
An
tranquil
eddy.
pool.
There's essentially like a small waterfall coming out of the side of the rock, and there's an area that's like a small lake, but it's not. It's very much smaller than that, pond size, and there is a camp set up around it. As you approach, you can see a few sentries sitting, a few in trees, a few kind of moving along the kind of lips of the bluff. There's kind of tents set up. It looks to be your kind of average bandit looking camp. You estimate maybe 20-25 arms in this camp.
Is that it?
You can see they've kind of constructed some walkways that lead kind of up the bluff, and there looks to be kind of a doorway cut into the rock by the side of the waterfall, and you can see there's a sconce kind of on the side, and it obviously goes deeper into the rock. There's a few crates and stuff. There's a fire pit. They're cooking what look to be like some game from the area. Some people are bathing in the pool by the waterfall. They've piled up what look to be quite a lot of stolen goods. There's crates. You imagine that the camp is able to kind of supply itself through probably hunting, but equally like pillaging caravans. As you remember, you have it with you. The bounty was sealed by the Silvermark Brotherhood. The seal on it was the hammer and silver coin of the Silvermark Brotherhood, and you can see all manner of merchant pillaging kind of items. There's crates of fruit, various other things around that are being kind of picked on. Yep.
What is what proof do we need that we've killed these people? Do we need like someone's head?
We're taking the leader dead or alive, I believe.
So the bounty is for the leader, but it says and crew. It didn't say how much, but you imagine probably a good sum. So how do you wish to continue at this point?
Dutch.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the matter? Do we wish to capture the leader of this gang, alone, and spare his men?
That'd involve like a proper plan with time and maybe money invested, or we just kill him.
I can't help but feel guilty again. The men we killed outside of Elwyn Tor, they were just acting on orders, and I feel much the same for these.
Yeah, and now so are we, and so are the people that will pick up the swords to try and fuck us off.
Well, you're probably right. How do you wish to approach? Should I try and take down some of these sentries?
I was thinking, if I hold on to you when you teleport with your arrow, do I go with you?
I don't think it works like that.
Fair enough.
I don't think this is the time to test it either.
No.
Yeah.
A lady begins to laugh within the town, and you can see there's a mixture of people within.
Was that Josh?
It was him, yeah.
Oh, that's not... Okay.
I say
it's a minute.
So Tashi, it's the glade. Let's say the glade is this hand.
Mm-hmm.
Here, there's the waterfall, and then everyone's like up here, are they?
No, it's like so the bluffs are like some rolling hills, and they're kind of forested on the kind of sides. You've come over the ridge, and you're looking down into like kind of an area like a crater almost, and there's on the far side, on the other side, the cliff wall, there's a waterfall, and there looks to be a tunnel kind of bored into it. But outside, around the kind of pool, is the camp. So the camp's kind of beneath you in this area, this kind of open area, but it's tucked. On all sides is like a ridge, and on the ridge where you're kind of sitting is also some patrolling guards. you imagine that the leader of this would probably be in the most important part or the most defended part, which is that inside the cliff section.
So, how far away from us are they?
The camp or the sentries?
The camp.
Maybe 80 feet down.
Okay, perfect. And how many sentries right in front of us?
They're not. They're kind of surrounding. They're not directly in front of you.
Is there two near us? Or any near us?
They're like patrolling, so they might eventually come your way.
Yeah.
But at the moment, they're not too close to you. But you imagine they kind of do a patrol. You imagine they're not really expecting
Yeah, I
a
say.
couple of people sneaking up. You know, if anyone's going to come and get them, they imagine it's going to be like, I don't know, to take out a bandit camp. You'd imagine quite a few people.
I do have a plan, Dutch. If we were to take out a couple of these sentries, I could make myself at least look like one of them. You could wear the clothes of the other, the larger. And then we could make our way into the main section of the camp.
Yeah. I mean, that might have been better than my plan, but...
Or we deal with all the sentries, and then we cause a distraction, and from that we make our way into the center.
Or if we killed all the sentries, or just the ones near us, and then just stood on the top of the hill and shot arrows into the camp as they tried to run towards us.
You still have a few days of like this section, so you're not in a rush necessarily.
Okay. Or we could just come back with the other guys and run in and kill them all.
I think we're more than capable of dealing with these men. However,
I say you just start shooting them from up here, and then when we get here, we fight them. We've got the higher ground. They have to deal with us, unless they all run into the cave, in which case it doesn't matter how many of them there are, because it'll be a choke point and we'll be fighting two abreast anyway.
Well, should we try and deal with some of these sentries? And then
Absolutely.
we can... okay, so I'd like to... I'll use stealth at this point. And I'd like to try and just sort of work... How many sentries did you say are around the edges?
It's maybe 4, but 2 are like on the complete other side. They're quite a ways away.
So just kill the two near us.
me and Dutch... So we'll both sneak up, and we'll take. I'll sort of like take the lead with this, and I'll like go in for the first one, and Dutch can take out the second.
Okay, make me a stealth check.
Okay. And then are we able to do the same on the other side, or would that be a separate roll?
Well, this will be quite a while. This roll will be for quite a bit.
Okay, yeah. So that will be a 34.
Okay.
You can.
yeah.
So,
natural 18.
Yeah, boy.
You both together.
I love this new blue dice.
Silently move off, sneaking up on the first guy. He's got a bow slung over his shoulder, and he's kind of walking along, whistling, smoking a pipe.
Thank you. I wanted to know if anyone had a bow. Can I take that off of him?
Are we able to knock them out and actually just tie them up?
Do you want to do non-lethal instead?
Yeah, if that's possible, actually.
Okay, so in that case, Dutch, you step out from behind a tree. He immediately looks worried, but your brother's right there, covers his mouth and pulls him down. You jump on him and begin essentially binding him and tying him up. You tie him to a tree with the bindings. You take his bow. You move on.
Obviously, I'm going to choke him unconscious.
Sure. You choke him
Take
unconscious.
his socks off and shove them in his mouth.
Sure.
Some flair there.
I believe they're stockings in this era.
You very easily and very proficiently also do the same to the other guard. And you begin stealthing your way down through the camp. Is there any in particular place that you want to head towards?
I'd say we'd probably try and skirt around the edges of the camp and not be seen.
Yeah, are there any more stragglers that we could take care of, or is that sort of are they sort of more close together at this
There are
point?
two that are on the complete opposite side, but you don't really need to worry about those because they're like they're like on the other side of the ridge. The rest are kind of mingling around in the middle of camp. But your stealth is so good, you can potentially move unseen to any area.
Would I be able to cast invisibility on Dutch? And on myself, I'll cast disguise self. Do I want to do that? I think I'd cast invisibility on Dutch, and then I would maybe make myself look like one of them, but just tone everything down like much darker colors that are going to blend in with the surroundings. So I'm able just to sort of skirt around, but then if I am seen, I can sort of hopefully potentially blag my way out of it.
So are you kind of skirting around and watching for a while, or are you heading somewhere specific? That's kind of my question.
We're going to go through the camp, I think, but not going through like the main faraway.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
But to where?
The hole, surely the cave.
Yeah. Is that the
Yeah.
aim?
That's the destination, yeah.
Okay. I'll save you the time with those spells. I just wanted to know where you're going to go. You easily managed to sneak your way through the camp. You just kind of skirt around, and while no one's looking, you both make your way up the kind of wooden gangway that leads to this archway, and you both, kind of with your back against the wall, looking back down the camp, none the wiser. You head inside. Moving down silently through these archways. Let me put some different music on, actually.
Brother, just while we're here, are we killing the leader or taking him back?
I think if we can, we take him back.
How are we going? Oh yeah, we'll knock him out, obviously.
And
Good
carry
plan.
him.
Yeah.
And Tashi, were there any horses or anything outside?
There weren't any horses. No.
Okay.
It's quite a steep way down, and you don't imagine it'd be easy for horses to sort of traverse it. There's one way in where horses could come through, and where they've probably pulled the carts to, but then you imagine they've taken the crates off, moved them down into this section. It would be it's very defensible for from let's say the local guard on horseback. Kind of coming to get them.
You're frozen for me.
Have I frozen for anyone else?
No.
You're right.
Okay. Theo's frozen for me. Maybe that's why. You continue down what looks to be probably an old mine that existed in here. There's various caved-in other kind of tunnels that lead through. You can see one where there's you have to walk over a plank, just a wooden plank across. It drops into darkness. There's a pulley system with a rope that's just tattered and torn, an old rusted one, and you kind of make your way across silently, and you can hear talking from up ahead. You both press against the sides of an opening where light is kind of spilling out, and you can hear two people talking amongst themselves. Well, I mean, it's not like they really need it, is it? We've got maybe 2 or 3 months of rations here. We can hold out. I know, but those cursed beasts, we must vanquish them. It is my way, and I must do this. Peering round into this room, Dutch, you see, Dylan, you just sense 2 figures within the room. Over a table, a candlelit table, you see a shaved head, not bald, but very short, shaved-headed man, sitting in a dark traveling cloak, a kind of broken nose, but very dashingly handsome, with what looks to be kind of like a goatee, and their eyes a piercing blue, like a brilliant blue. The guy sitting across from him on the other side of the table Hair kind of cropped short, golden, but in like a small bun on the back of his head. Wearing what looked to be kind of shining paladin armor, but covered with kind of, again, like a riding cloak, and others a spear kind of resting up against the wall. You see none other than Luthar Sunbeam. You really recognize the other guy sitting across from him.
Luthar. Is that
sitting across from Luthar? You recognize the other guy.
I mean, Jasper.
Jasper Bravethorn.
Who was that? It's been a
That's
while.
his real name.
No,
of
Luthar
course.
is actually called Jasper Bravethorn.
Jasper
Braithwaite.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Is Luthar. You recognize him, but I've described him to you. If you don't remember, then you don't remember.
That's because it's been a week in game and like a year in real life.
Is it a
years in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's been over a year. No, it hasn't been over a year in game. It's been a while in game too. It's been a while in game.
It's been long enough for Dutch.
What are you two doing?
I'm gonna wait to take his lead.
Whew.
Good job.
So who are we after? Who are we are? What was the name of the person we're after? The individual that was on the bounty.
It says a dangerous highwayman. That's the leader of the Seers.
Okay.
They continue to kind of converse about holding out here and rations, and they talk about how there's a shipment coming through, which they talk about people. There's a shipment of people that's coming through that they want to hit.
Can I say why?
Yeah, cool. That's going to be related to whatever's going on in Soul Reach.
Do they say what the shipment of people, what anyone wants it for, or just that there is one?
You can sit and wait longer if you want.
I think we need to take action. We need to defeat these people and probably not, don't we? See if we can take them alive.
What, so just beat the fuck out of them?
And tie them up. I could attempt to cast blindness/deafness on one of them.
Yeah, don't do it. If we're gonna go, I'm waiting. Dutch is waiting for your go.
That's fair enough. Let me just see what else I've got spell wise from the quiver. Just get it up. Because my other thing would be I could cast darkness on them. However, that would mean that you wouldn't be able to do anything, but I could obviously move throughout the darkness because I don't rely on sight. What are your thoughts? I could just attempt to incapacitate one with blindness and deafness. You could go after
do
the
that.
other. I could get a hit, or I could also should I just who do you think's got the lowest constitution out of these two? Who looks sort of the least who might have the lowest fortitude? That's the word I'm looking for.
Judging by the shape of them,
maybe not Jasper.
Not Jasper. However,
does he know who Jasper is at this point? I thought you couldn't see anything or see them.
Damn it, I don't. Yeah.
Are
they both facing away from us?
No, they're facing towards each other.
Towards each other.
Sort of profile like this.
I feel like incapacitating Jasper would be more advantageous. However, yeah. I mean, we could. It doesn't mean just because we take someone down doesn't mean we couldn't stabilize them. So we could just literally go in for a fucking like mega attack and try and just take them down that way.
Yeah, let's fucking do that. Let's just go balls to the wall. If someone if he dies, he dies. You know, let's fucking go.
That's true. Okay, so we'll just attack them. So we'll just load all our. Do you have a ranged attack or something?
So this is a skill challenge.
This is a skill
Platinum
challenge.
There is no attack. in a skill
Okay, I see.
challenge.
I'd like to
Think
cast
about
Bless
your
before the
skills.
combat starts.
There is no combat.
There's no combat.
no
yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. No. No. Sure.
Think about what the other two did and how. Yeah, I probably should not.
I
let
understand
you-
what you're
let
saying.
You RP this so in the moment. I should have.
I absolutely understand what you're saying. Yeah. 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 I know, but it just adds for some flavour, doesn't it? Really.
Just to remind you, Jasper Bravethorn
Yeah.
Was quite a cool
Yeah.
guy.
Yes.
was a
yeah.
nice guy.
Oh, maybe
the
we should
end.
talk to them.
I was like, why are they going to kill
Fuck.
them in my head? It's like, what
He
the
accepted
fuck?
redemption.
All right,
He
DM. Don't
accepted it into
fucking
his
break
heart.
the like. Don't. Yeah, you can't come in with that.
This is a valuable fourth wall that we have put up.
It's, don't worry, it's only a skill challenge. Like,
I know. Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, I don't want to kill them. I'm gonna cast blindness, deafness
okay.
on. Oh no, because I do have that, don't I? Yes, he gets disadvantage on it. So yeah, I will cast it on Jasper Bravethorn, and if Dutch can go into take down, because that was my latest level of rogue, was he gets disadvantage on the roll.
Let's do it.
Sick.
So from
Nice.
if I'm hidden, yeah.
Okay, so what skill are you gonna use for this section, and or are you just do?
So
using the
Dutch, I
spell?
feel like you should use athletics to like.
Yeah,
well, yeah, if I
I'd
use the
like
spell
to-
as part of it, but Dutch could use maybe athletics to basically take down the other guy, and we can just basically tie them both up. Or
I get
whatever.
advantage when I'm raging, so can I rage as well?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, let's
Okay,
fucking
make,
go.
Make your athletics check then.
So this is
I'll roll with
Plus-
disadvantage.
15.
So I rolled a 16 and a 17.
Oh no,
That's
it's
gonna
not.
beat it. That's gonna beat
How's
Oh,
it.
is it? Okay.
Yeah,
What did he roll?
16 and a natural 16 and
This,
natural
is for,
17.
this isn't for the athletics, Mike. Don't worry. It's not for the athletics, Mike.
Oh,
What did you get for your athletics, Mike?
first roll was a 15. Oh yeah, that's much better. I'll take the 21, please.
Overall.
Yeah.
Okay, so you burst into the chamber, casting this spell. You see Jasper Bravethorn's face kind of like see you both entering. He has like a look of shock as he shrugs your spell off. And then he kind of smiles as he recognizes Dutch running into the room.
Dutch, he doesn't see me. I'm a fucking ghost, bro. I'm the
He is
ghost
invisible.
face killer. I'm invisible.
Well, he
The
sees
spell.
he sees you as you begin to grapple Blue Eyes Reuben to the ground.
Yeah.
You
He's that
smash-
gun! I knew
you
it!
smash his face into the ground, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing in here?" He like shouts towards you. Luthor kind of like gets up, putting his hands up and being like, "Oh, it's you, Gypsies of Fortune. The Gypsies of Fortune are here." What are you doing?
Oh, he seems so excited. I'm gonna get off of his mate.
Maybe hold him down, and I'll draw an arrow.
Yeah, yeah.
His expression kind of drops, but what are you doing here? Are you here to help? Where's Richter? Where are the others? And Blue Eyes Reuben's like, get the fuck off me! What are you doing? Oh, it's you cunts! You bastards! You ruined my town! There's a fucking pyramid there, and I can't even. None of us can live. and Jasper's just like, Reuben, you know these people? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. Bunch of fuckers came through town as we were trying to kill this werewolf girl. They freed her, and then she killed a bunch of people. This pyramid turned up. All our crops died.
She died, didn't she? The werewolf. She died.
She
the werewolf,
eventually
right?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking shit show. As Dutch is hitting him down to the ground.
As I remember it, your town was shit anyway, and you weren't very nice. And in our defense, we were very new to the whole adventuring hero sort of thing.
I'm going to be frank with you. Me and
Please
Dutch
don't be
here
frank.
aren't
We don't
much
like
of the negotiators. We came here looking for some kind of bandit operation.
Yeah, well, that's
What the hell are
us.
you doing here? Well,
Me?
yes, you.
At this point, you hear a growling, and you turn around to the doorway, and there is a dire wolf blocking the door. You can see behind an elf steps from the shadows into view. Into the light, and you see Yenlith, the wood elf ranger. As she steps in, she puts her bow over her shoulder and kind of looks down at a Reuben on the ground and Dutch on top, and just kind of shakes her head. She's like, "We've been taking out Silvermark. That's what we've been doing." And Reuben's like, "Get your hands off me, please! Let
Dutch,
me
perhaps you better.
I'm gonna stand him back up on his feet and like dust him down and put his jacket back
go."
on.
He
Right?
like he burns his gaze into you with his brilliant blue eyes.
I've seen Blower.
Luthor turns when Jasper turns and says, "Well, I've been doing what Richter and you all inspired me to do, and I've been making up for my wrongdoings of my past."
That's quite honorable. However, you may want to shore up your defenses a little.
Right.
Don't worry that we didn't kill anyone, but a couple of your men up the ridge, you may want to loosen their bonds.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, Adrian's not a very good lookout. He just likes to smoke most of the time. I can imagine it probably is him. Yeah.
Trust me, it could have been a lot worse if we were going with Dutch's suggestions.
I'm sure. Right. Well, you're here because for a bounty, you said?
Supposedly, but I mean, we're not fond of the Silvermark, and I'm sure Soulreach were spinning your what you were doing here in a different way. So that kind of changes things.
You spend some time in the camp chatting with Reuben, Jasper, and Yenlith, and they tell you of their kind of exploits in the kind of empire, and they've been traveling with this gang that's now kind of known as the Seers, and they've been essentially hitting Silvermark caravans. They tell you there's been shipments of people in some of these like black armored
taking
caravans,
notes.
which you've seen. You saw one leaving Soulreach as you kind of first arrived, and you've seen them before. You saw them leaving White Rock a long time ago, along with caravans of people they were taking to Cinderhelm. You didn't know what was in them, but they confirmed that they've been shipping people about. Prisoners, they've been calling them, but some of the people in camp, some of these bandits are people that they've rescued from these, that were willing to then kind of fight. They had nowhere else to go. Often the people that are picked up are kind of like scragglers, homeless people, vagabonds.
Where are they heading?
Wanderers.
Most of these.
They've been heading through the Shimmer Pass. So they've been heading north to Kirklear. So the Shimmer Pass is the tunnel that leads past the kind of the Shimmertooth Mountains to the outside of the Empire. Towards
What's it called? The Shimmer.
So if you look at the map, the Shimmertooth Peaks are the
Shimmertooth
mountains
Peaks.
that. Let's go,
I see him.
Let's go
Yeah.
to the main map, and I'll show you on the main map.
Awesome. I'd like to fill them in on Oshkar's hit on Ungmiri.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that intrigues them greatly, and they say that they won't obviously claim any sort of mention of the Gypsies in their hits because it would obviously provoke him further. So here where Soulreach is, if if you can see that.
Yeah. Let me zoom in.
There's like a tunnel that sort of heads through the mountains and out this way. Through the shimmer. It's called these are the Shimmertooth Peaks, and essentially the tunnel heads through the mountains, and that's where these caravans have been heading, and they've been cutting off quite a few, but increasingly they're becoming more armed, more guarded. You know that Kirkula is like a sort of canyony, more arid area.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not immediately Kirkula on the other side of the mountains. There's like a big kind of stretch of no man's landish. That's where they've been heading. They offer you kind of like, you know, a place to rest for the evening, and you spend the eve kind of chatting amongst them. They say that they're gonna be soon moving on from here. They've heard that there's more kind of they're essentially going to follow the trail and head into Kirkula and see kind of they're going to track down some of these caravans, maybe even steal one and take it for themselves. And essentially see what's going on. They form their own posse. They're doing their own thing. I'd
like to know where they'll be sort of roughly heading, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, because I think we'd be very interested in meeting up with them again and assisting them in their
Blue Eyes.
Whatever they're doing.
Yenlith stays quiet, but Jasper like begins to kind of say where he thinks they'll be, but Blue Eyes Reuben cuts him off and says that he wants none of you come and help. They're doing their own thing. He's the leader of this gang, and you're gonna stay the hell out of this. But Jasper basically says that he's already told you they're heading into Kirkula, but it could be you know, hundreds of miles.
That's fine.
They're going to follow their own leads, and they're going to.
We'll find them.
We'll
be able to find
do
them.
kind of their own thing. They do tell you.
You spell Kirklia.
Kurkhula. Kirkula.
Sorry, Hula.
Yeah. They do tell you a little bit some pertinent information. They tell you that Blue-Eyed Reuben tells you that they obviously had to leave because of the pyramid, but while they were there, still trying to kind of survive while they were packing up, an expeditionary company called the Flanagan's Expeditionary Branch of the Silvermark Brotherhood came and defeated the pyramid, or at least essentially went in, plundered it, left. But unfortunately, even with whatever was in it dead, the land is still barren and wouldn't grow anything. So they were forced to kind of leave anyway. So the pyramid has been.
What did we do, man?
Defeated.
Didn't we plant just like a bean?
You planted a bean and you rolled the like 1% percentile that would grow a pyramid. I think it's like 99 will grow a pyramid, and then 100 is the beanstalk that goes to the
Never
land of the
underestimate
giants.
the power of the bean.
Power of the bean.
Which is what Crosson did when he threw his bean in the soil and rolled 100.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's like the few times we've ever done it, we've got the most crazy things. You spend the evening there. You kind of reminisce a little bit with Jasper and Yenlith, and they kind of fill you in about what they've been up to since. You know, they managed to escape Cinderhelm after the battle. They made their way kind of into the Empire, and they've been kind of, you know, do-gooding essentially. Jasper says that they visited Barkholm. Ilmasoy, also known as, which is the elven city within the Aesine, hidden deep within the kind of northern side of it, as Yenlith is originally from there.
Yeah.
They went back. They obviously allowed entry because she was there, although she hates it there. And then they made their way from there into the Empire and have kind of been essentially tracking down Silvermark. They met up with Blue-Eyed Reuben and these others, and basically have been kind of a bit like the Band of Brothers in Game of Thrones. You know, they've been kind of like just kind of chilling and doing good here and there. You fill them in about Soul Reach and what's kind of been happening. You share a few drinks, maybe play some dice, and eventually they
give them.
They begin kind of packing up the next day to move on, and you begin heading back.
I'll give Yenlith some of my Fletcher's wood oil.
Oh, nice. She accepts. Before you part, as a reward for your knowledge and your insight, Jasper Braythorn turns and gives you what looks to be a potion of some kind. It's kind of like a yellowy fizzing liquid inside. He gives it to both of you and says, kind of for you and the gypsies, and he kind of just winks at you and says that it will shine bright in the darkest times.
Hey!
He gifts it to you.
Nice.
If I put it under my t-shirt, does it glow?
It does. It
An
does faintly.
evening star.
It does faintly, yeah.
Nice.
And you head back. You obviously can't wind walk back, so you spend the next few days trekking your way back. You know, it takes the better part of a day and a bit to eventually get back to Soul Reach. But you make your way back, and Ruthus and Dutch, you can finish your books. So
Hey!
In that case,
Hey!
Dutch, your wisdom increases by 2 for the Tome of Understanding, and now cannot.
Wait, what increases by 2? My modifier or my score?
Your score.
So you get a +1.
I'm only -2 in wisdom now.
It's not
Was it a
Hey.
+2?
You get 2 in wisdom. So what were you? You were a 5.
5, so it goes up to a
Now
7.
you're a 7.
Yeah.
That's changed a whole extra minus, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And
If
Ruthus,
I put-
you have your squat nimbleness. So your walking speed increased by 5 feet. You can gain
Amazing.
proficiency in either acrobatics or athletics. And you have
Sick.
advantage on athletics or acrobatics when you try to escape from being grappled.
Hey,
Doesn't it
slippery
increase my
Rufus.
stats?
And the best part, you can either increase your strength or your dexterity score by 1.
Whoa!
Well, hey,
Is it
it's
over the
Aiden.
allowed amount?
Hassan.
To a maximum of 20. You can't go above with this, yeah.
Oh,
Word
damn it.
brothers. What up?
Oh, still.
That's
Hey.
still fucking dope. How we fucking doing?
Yeah, hello.
Also, shout out to Sound of Yoga in the fucking chat, who's been keeping me entertained.
Shout out to who?
Sound of Yogi.
chat.
Sound
I think he's gone to
Yogi.
get something to eat, but yeah. Oh wait, no, he's here. He's still here.
Yeah.
Can you,
Yeah.
can you
He's
tell
back
me
now. He's
all
back.
of that again?
You can look it up. It's the feat, squat nimbleness. Just look it
Oh,
up.
okay. I'll do that.
It's a small race specific feat.
The
That's
small
fucking
ones.
sick. Because I got the
Specific
orc
to small
with
races.
You're a stunty now.
damage and
So you return at the end of that. So Richter,
Yes.
for the first half of your downtime, you obviously spent kind of helping
Being a
helping
goody
the
goody.
city, and as a reward, you've got this armor that's being made. For the second half,
Yes, and my helm.
because you weren't here, you didn't go along with either of the other guys. So you still have the other week. Well, sorry, not the other week. The other 5 days, so the other half, to do whatever you want to do. So the only thing still on the jobs board that hasn't been looked at is the little kid's note, which was like the scrawled kind of crayon note of a lost cat. But equally, you could do anything else you want in town. You know, you could go to the archives, you could go shopping, you know, whatever you want to do.
Richter has enjoyed his time helping the good people of Solreach, and he's enjoying their smiles, their nods, their adulations, but in a very sort of, you know, selfless, non-arrogant way. And he takes notes of this crudely scrawled crayon poster about some missing cat. He feels very beholden to help find this missing puss.
Okay, so in that case, we will begin this skill challenge. So you have this note. It just says, "Help my cat is lost, please." And there's like you scratched it into your your tome, your codex, and it's like a really funny basic drawing. Have you ever read the book The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime?
I started it, yeah.
The front cover, the original front cover to that is like that kind of derpy dog.
Sure.
It's like a crayon drawing of a dog. It's like that. That's exactly what it's like. It's a black cat. So, how are you going to begin your skill challenge?
Does the piece of paper have a kid's name, an address, anything on it? It just says, "Find my cat."
It just says, "Please find my cat, please."
Please find my cat.
It says, "Please find my cat. My cat's name is Bird."
Cat's name is Bird, and there is a sketch of this cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
it's
well.
A bird.
Richter, taking a bit of a stab in the dark, will staring at this. I mean, how different the cats look from each other, really. You know, for the most part, I've got this picture of a cat. I can see the color of the cat. I know the cat's name is Bird. That narrows it down quite a bit. Richter, what color is the cat on the sketch?
Black.
Richter conjures the image of a black cat in his mind and thinks, Bird, Bird, Bird the cat. Wonderful, beautiful feline, Bird the cat, and casts Locate Creature on Bird the cat.
Okay. Okay, let me have a look at the range. 1,000 feet. Okay. Can you twin it with a skill of some kind?
Yes. Richter will go through the streets to the people that he has been helping and assisting and say, good friends. Oh, it is so good to be helping you with all of this work in town. My heart is wounded. There is a child who has been cruelly robbed of their precious animal. We have all lost in these last dark days, have we not, my friends? Surely you guys can help me locate this wonderful black cat named Bird, and I want to do that as persuasion on the townsfolk.
Make me persuasion check, please.
Rolling. Oh shit! Rolled as a 2, but that's plus 13, so that's a 15.
Wow. Whoa, that was the DC. So you literally couldn't have failed unless you rolled a 1.
God damn.
High levels. You ask about, you use your Locate Creature, and you kind of like circle the town, asking if people have seen any cats. You begin to move about. You spend pretty much most of the day asking, looking about. Occasionally you see a few cats, but they don't ping on your radar. You know, you see a ginger tom.
Yeah, kitty.
You see a nice kind of grey tabby, but they're not Bird. They're not the right cat.
They're not Bird.
But eventually, in the gardens, you find a ping on your radar. And in fact, Locate Creature. Oh, it lasts an hour. So we'll say searching for an hour.
Kitty
However,
located.
However, there are guards that obviously guard this part of this, the two kind of doors, the gates into this walled garden, as it's only for the it's kind of like part of the palace gardens essentially.
Of course.
And there seems to be a couple of guards on duty at the moment, and unfortunately, they won't let you in.
Hark, good guardsman. Might I enter this fine garden in search of a poor child's lost animal?
What kind of skill are you going to use? Because you've used persuasion already.
Of course. Oh, damn! You're right. Okay, sure. Understood. Okay. In that case, Richter will say, "Good day, good day, my friends, the guardsmen. I have a rendezvous in this garden ahead. It is a palace business. I'm sure you understand that the contacts of Celeste and the others cannot be seen publicly, but I'm sure that I could convince you to look the other way very briefly. You know that I am, of course, a friend of the palace, and that's a deception.
Roll me a deception check, please.
8 plus 9, 17.
17. They sort of look towards you. They kind of recognize you. You were one of the people that are kind of one of Rufus's men, and they nod and they step aside, allowing you entry into the gardens.
Thank you. Good.
I love the story you spin just to rescue a cat.
I must meet my contact.
This lovely black cat sits like curled up on one of the benches in the sun, just like lazing about. But as you approach, it looks wary.
It looks wary.
What are you going to do with your next stage of your skill challenge? If only you had animal handling as a tagged skill.
Of course, which I absolutely do not. But Richter will instead. He will, of course, in accordance with feline protocol, he will, of course, at it to begin with, to first get its attention. And while the kitty is looking directly at me, it won't notice my Githyanki mage hand seizing it from the nape.
Okay, so a spell instead. In that case, make me an athletics check.
Here we go.
As part of it, you're using the spell more than the skill, so.
Sure. That is an 11, which turns into a 20.
Which turned into 20. Okay, I rolled an 18. I'm gonna look up cat and see what his dex is.
They're dexy. They're definitely dexy.
They're definitely dexy.
Yeah.
Cat.
They know how to dex.
I think it might be a +2.
It's a +2. So that means that it's a 20 and a 20. Which means that it meets it, it beats it, but who beats it because it's contested? So in which case, we'll roll again.
Okay. What? Just the same roll again?
Oh, shit. Yep, roll again.
Oh, crit fail.
I rolled a 3.
Oh, man.
You go to grab the cat a second time, but this time you shoot it back through the bushes towards you, and the mage hand returns with naught but a stick. As the cat, you hear it, and it skitters off into the bushes.
I'm going in them bushes.
Nice try, but what are you going to do next for your skill challenge?
Hell. Okay. In that case, Richter will. Damn. Okay. Very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Richter will use invisibility. Richter will use invisibility and start prowling around the edges of the bush.
Okay.
Hoping to catch it as it darts out.
What other skills have you still got tagged?
I've used athletics, I've used deception, I've used persuade, I've got insight, intimidation, medicine, and performance.
So which one of those are you going to use, and how are you going to spin it to help you catch the cat?
Okay, Richter. Yes, Richter. Richter will crawl to the edge of the bushes, still psing, and he will, with his quill and his codex, he will performance to replicate the sound, while he will attempt to scritch in his codex to replicate the sound cat's claws make when they scratch your furniture up.
And in hopes to
attract its attention over.
Okay, make a performance check for me, please.
Okay. I'm scraping the barrel here.
D&D, I love it.
That is
Oh, the
a
imagery is so good.
That is a 17.
You scritch and scritch and scritch. And the cat comes over slowly, looking towards you. And eventually it kind of comes over and it kind of pats at the quill, looking at the feather, seems to enjoy it. And it kind of does that thing where it weaves between your legs, rubbing itself on your ankles, and you scooch it up, and it's purring away in your arms.
Yes! Cat secure. Got the bag. Right. I go initially to put it in my bag of holding and then stop myself, remembering the kind of bag that this is, and I instead simply stroke it. On my way out of the garden, I nod knowingly at the guards as I stroke the cat, trying to look as mysterious as possible. My contact left me my dead drop. I will thank you to not spread this rumor around. And I dart off.
You head back towards the notice board by the guards sort of building the barracks. And
who has lost a cat named Bird?
There is the guards tell you of a girl called Maurice.
Little girl.
They give you directions.
A little girl named Maurice.
Maurice.
Little Maurice, the girl.
Maurice. Okay. Cool.
They send you
Maurice.
to the directions of the house, and you rap a tap on the house, and indeed there is a nice little girl there who's like, oh, Bird, and she takes the cat and it kind of like yowls, and she's grabbing it, and it's like like with its legs sticked out, and she's like, where have you been?
I can see why this happened.
Giving it lots of snuggles and things, and takes it inside, and stepping to the door, you see what appears to be her father, and
Good day, sir.
Her father thanks you, and you recognise her father. You recognise her father as Byron Shade, the owner of the Witch Vault. He says, thank you kindly for getting my daughter's cat back. Maurice is always losing that cat.
There have been many losses in the passing days, sir, but no loss is too small to require attention.
Please, I must reward you for your doings today. And take this. And he hands you over what looks to be a pouch of bones.
Oh, yes.
I had been eyeing this. Thank you, good sir. Thank you, Byron. This will come to great use, I am sure. Now, let's tell little Maurice to watch that bird. That was quite a pointed comment you made there. I'm not going to question that. In fact, you know what? Insight. I'm inciting that comment.
Sure, roll me an insight check.
16.
Really suspicious and weird in general. You have gained the bone bag. I will send you a picture.
Bone bag.
This was cool. This thing. I really liked the sound of it.
Yeah, you would. You bloody
Very
skeleton.
You bloody skeleton.
I'm a little skeleton boy.
In reference to your choice of Warhammer armor.
Yeah.
You get to shout, a skeleton popped out every time you use it.
I'm so glad that Richter got it. I'm so glad Richter got that.
Oh, it's
Like,
it's
great.
Justice for Kofin.
Justice for Kofin, motherfuckers.
I'm just sending it to the
Free my boy!
We just need to make some more barrel bombs to strap to them now.
So that ends the downtime. Well done,
Woo!
everyone.
We're going live.
Um,
Do it live, bitch.
so
We're doing it live.
I don't know whether Aiden was about when I said that you'd all leveled up.
Oh, what?
So feel free, Aiden. Everyone has leveled up. So you can take it in. You can take it in Paladin, or you can take it in Warlock, depending, or something new if you really want. I wouldn't
Sure.
suggest it.
Can I? Do I have to do that right now, or can I reserve that for between sessions?
You can reserve it for whenever you want. What
Yeah,
you could do.
I don't know if I'll be able to
you
brainstorm
could,
that.
You could roll your hit dice if you want. But
yes.
then again, actually, depending on what you choose, it'll be different. So you can do that next time.
That's true. I think I'm gonna rest on that, and I'll do it this evening.
Yeah, totally.
When I've got a little bit of time. But my goodness, Tashi, taking a look at this incredible image, where in the world did you find such a fantastic piece of
Sponsor
kit?
time!
Of course, Mr. James Gifford's magical assorted items.
Oh,
James
Mr. James Gifford,
Whoa!
can it rain upon us with your fine magical items?
Just remember, everyone, the assorted magical items deck contains 60 magical item reference cards that are
60.
compatible with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
That's double 30.
Whether it's a bizarre book of misspells, a sinister shadow glass daggers, or the rather gross slime armor, these unique items come with their own unique rules and stories to inspire your adventures.
I want to be the slime girl, and with James Gifford's help, I can be.
Here they are. Look at this. Here it is.
Oh,
the
background is blacking it
Marvelous and
out.
glorious.
Cannot see
Will
it.
James Gifford would make me into a magic item.
James Gifford is so attractive that he appeared in one of my dreams the other night, and make of that what you will.
There you go.
James Gifford is the most magical item of all.
Absolutely. And he may be joining us at some point, depending.
He's a fucking hero, is what he is.
So,
A little dungeon Valentine.
over these 8 days, the town begins to slowly become more and more festive. Banners of blue ribbon and silver ribbon are put about the town. Lots more of these. I mean, Solreach is known for its little like glass wind chimes and stuff that kind of reflect the sunlight. But like, just there are so many, way more kind of put around town. You can see in certain town squares that have now been cleared up, like outside the Grand Loom, which the actual loom itself has kind of been cordoned off. There's kind of market stalls that have been erected. A lot of like essentially tavern gardens, you know, outside in the courtyards, tables, benches. There's various kind of stalls and kind of like carnival games almost that are kind of happening around town. And the day finally approaches, the day of the moon. Saloon's Day, as it is known, the day in which the moon is the biggest, the highest, the most glorious. And you have the day. You are told that in the evening, as the sun begins to set and the moon begins to come out, Celeste informs you that she will be going to the Elvish embassy along with the arrivals, the procession from Xanthar, with her babe to Xanthar City, and as you had told her of your interest in going there to negotiate some kind of new tax deals for Solreach, she has essentially got you space on the trip to there.
Oh my.
She tells you Christoph is staying. Christoph is overseeing the kind of reconstruction of the loom. He's been given strict instructions. She tells you that over this time period, she has been obviously busy nursing her newborn, but also they had a a very quiet memorial service for her dad, for Malvo Blackfriar. And Yasha.
So the baby's not having any trouble with human milk then?
Nope.
Okay.
All good. And
Good. Good.
Yasha is going to be staying with Christoph, also to kind of like oversee the Blackfriar troops that are kind of bulking the town, just to keep it, keep it afloat. She says that to meet her at the Elven Embassy as the sun begins to set. That is when you are due to leave, if you wish to go. She assumes that you are, but you, as the Gypsies, are completely free to, with this day until that point, do with what you will. There are many things to do in town. There are games. There are other kind of festivities that are happening. Equally, you can do some shopping, whatever it is you want to do, or you can simply say, "We'll just fast travel until that moment." So.
Did she say how she's traveling?
She said that they must have some kind of teleportation in the embassy.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
mean, the first thing I'd do today would be to give Dutch another potion of growth that I brewed.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give Richter a potion of fire breath.
Cool.
Oh, thank you.
What the
Thank you very
fuck?
much, Zook.
You're amazing.
So write that down, boys. Write that down. Otherwise, it'll be forgotten.
So I think I would like to suggest to Dutch that it might be wise, as we're heading back to the big city, if we, unburden some of the visiting nobility of their very weighty coin purses on this fine festival day.
Yeah.
You can take the twins out of Xanthar. You can't take Xanthar out of the twins.
Yeah. I didn't even know what faces I was pulling, so I didn't have my own screen up.
It was a real cream face. That's what it was.
It was pleasure
It was a pleasure face.
incarnate.
What do you want me to roll?
This,
Nice
fucking
background. Nice.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, I haven't
Rufus,
done it in ages, but I should have.
Rufus walks past and overhears this piece of conversation, and he stops and he turns with a scowl on his face.
Does he overhear it?
That's quite
Sure.
the assumption that you overheard
He
that.
said it now, and now it's out there.
It's canon
Now
now.
it's canon, baby.
And he turns with a scowl on his face. What did I hear you say?
We're gonna go out and have a lovely time celebrating with the locals and drinking beer and being nice and not robbing from anyone.
Deception.
His scowl
I want to roll my
remains
deception,
on his face.
motherfucker. I want to roll my deception. You don't know me.
All right, go for it.
Okay, wait a second. Oh,
Not good, is
okay.
it?
So my deception is 6. Fuck. I got a 12.
Do you want me to roll a contested one?
Yeah, roll an insight.
Oh, insight.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
your insight against his deception.
3 minus 3.
Oh,
You must have misheard, Rufus.
What up, Mayor?
The scowl stays on his face, and he looks at you, and then it slowly turns into a smile. Well, whatever you do, give them hell, boys. And then he slams a hand down onto each of your shoulders, and Dylan, on your shoulder, runes etch themselves ethereally with sparks flying into your shoulder, onto your clothes. And I'll give you the same one as before, the cloud rune. So advantage on sleight of hand and deception checks.
nice.
Oh
And,
my goodness. Okay.
Rufus's other hand bursts into ethereal sparks, and onto Dutch's leathers, he imbues a fire rune, which gives you proficiency twice a day with checks with tools, But when you hit a creature, they take 2d6 fire damage, and on a strength save, they are restrained.
Whoa!
What?
He's gone.
The
He's
Rune
just,
Knight's crazy.
he's just left the
Dutch
room.
has now ascended grappling. He can grapple without even trying to.
You can punch
And
a
then
trainer.
And then he looks
I'm
between the two of
basically
you.
a god.
I think I'm
Oh,
I'm getting the hang of
Mike,
these
we've been there
powers.
before.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
With-
put
with
the
that-
I'll put the text in the chat for you so you
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
what it is.
with that, I'd like a stealth followed by a sleight of hand roll from both of you. You can choose to aid each other or vice versa, or roll separately. It's up
Yeah.
to you.
I'll just go invisible, and like Dutch maybe could cause a distraction, and like you could just be like going around, people will be avoiding you, and you'll be sort of dispersed in the crowd, so they're less aware of their.
Right. In that case, Dutch, make me an intimidation roll. And
Yep. Can I be
and-
clapping? You know the fire glove and the ice glove. Can I just be clapping them together as I go through like a right cunt?
Sure. And Draug, you can roll me a sleight of hand check, please.
When you do that, Dutch,
Oh,
does it just make
yeah.
like steam go up or
With
something?
advantage.
Do you?
Oh yeah,
do you
and
want me to do
people
it- do you
get
want
knocked
to be
back if they're shit.
Oh,
I'll say if you're going invisible, you just
Yeah.
roll me a sleight of hand. If not, roll me a stealth and a sleight of hand.
Yeah, I'll go.
He's invisible,
Yeah,
blessed.
that's well.
He's
Okay,
invisible. Can I bless
Right
him?
hand with advantage.
You can,
Okay.
you can bless him, sure.
I bless him so he gets
Invisible.
Thank God.
Yeah, D4 too.
He is
You can bless everyone. You can bless all the gypsies.
Reptile the Invisiblest. Yeah.
we miss you, stupid best
So,
friends. We
uh,
miss you.
Dutch,
Yeah, so
what was
much.
what was your intimidation check?
I haven't rolled it yet. I'm doing it. Oh, that's a 10 plus a 5 plus whatever you give me. No. Intimidation. You said I could use my strength, right?
So
I love
you're
listening to
just-
Mike's
you're
internal
just-
process.
You're just trying to like freak people out by clapping and being like aggressive.
No, I'm clapping the steam gloves together so it's like boom,
Yeah.
boom.
So
Yeah.
people are like moving away from you.
Just clapping the Thomas the Tank Engine
Sure.
theme tune.
It's creating a
Um,
distraction.
Can I use my strength for intimidation, you said?
For this, you can, yeah, sure.
So that's plus 10, so it's an unnatural 20.
Nice. And Dylan,
23.
23.
Can I say from a 4?
From a 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
I rolled a
got
3.
my-
I rolled a 3 into a 4. I know, yeah.
I
Thanks.
rolled a 4, Tashi. It's 24.
Okay, so 23 and a 24. So the
Yes.
the twins, the twins spend a good part of the day, you know, shifting between the crowds, scoping people out, doing what they used to do best in Xanthos City. You know, they use their classic tactics of Dutch causes the distraction, and Dylan sneaks in behind and relieves those nobles of their coin purses. I'd like you both to roll me deep percentile dice. Both roll me percentile.
So it's both D10s at the same time, yeah?
Yeah, but one is obviously
Yeah.
the 10 and one is the
Yeah.
unit.
Unless you've got the percentile, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'll say that the blue is the for 10s, and then the yellow is for the single digit. I'm almost finished my second G&T now. It's, okay. Yeah. 98.
Ginger beer and tap water. That's what G&T stands for.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
A 98.
A 98.
And,
Yeah.
and,
I got an 89.
and an
Oh,
89.
damn.
That's how much. That's how much gold you get.
Hey!
Okay.
Ooh,
Nice.
So
Nice.
well done. You fucking got a hoard. You both rolled incredibly well.
They've got fat purses around here.
There's
You're feeling smug as
you
Smaug.
really, you really make work. So the other three, what are you doing?
Richter. Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead. I've already done a thing.
I'll do this quickly before you carry on.
Mhm.
After Rufus turns around from the other two and immediately comes face to face with Zook and Richter. You two, come here. I need the practice. And he thrusts out his hands, and as they make contact with your clothes, sparks fly. Ethereal magic runs down through Rufus's veins, and
Rufus, your
a
hands.
giant's a giant language etching appears on your clothes and then disappears subtly.
I can read
and
that.
for Zook, you get the same one as before, whatever it's called, the Storm Rune.
Storm Rune. Ah.
So advantage on Arcana checks. You can never be surprised, and invoke it with the bonus action.
Prophetic state.
Same as before. Yeah.
Nice.
And you Richter.
Yes.
You could use some fortitude if it comes to it. And on you, a hill rune appears.
Oh.
You have advantage on saves against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison. And you can invoke it with a bonus action to gain resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage.
Whoa.
Yeah.
One sec. Okay, I got the advantage, save poison, resist poison. What was the second bit?
You can invoke it with a bonus action to gain resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage.
Basically, you can use bonus action to rage. It's like the same kind of thing. But
and it lasts for a minute.
Lasts a minute.
Once you invoke it.
Thank you.
You can't do it again. You can't do that again until you finished a short or long rest.
Mayor of my heart forevermore.
You look about you, and
there
are many kind of many things happening throughout the town. Some people come up to you, Ruthus, and kind of pat you on the back, and some people want to shake your hand, and for the things that you've sort of done of late. They see you as the person that kind of came back and restored the town to this. A lot of people are kind of thankful of you. This coincidence that you've appeared, the child was born, the loom blew up, and it's all kind of turned out for the best currently.
Nice, great,
Sick.
Good job, us.
We are the best.
I think I'm gonna. Do we still have rooms at the Lion's Perch?
You could, yeah. I mean, they're available to you as.
Is there is there like a hearth in there or a fireplace?
Yeah, there is.
Can I go and just? I'm just gonna pop Cinder down in there and feed him some logs, and be like, "You stay here, look after yourself." And then I'm gonna like open up the window to the room, stretch, and then just shrink into a little bumblebee, and I want to fly over the buildings, over to the royal greenhouses, and see if I can get into them.
Oh, yeah, easy enough done as a bumblebee. It's a brilliant day. The sun is like shining high in the sky, but you can also faintly see what looks to be the moon that's like already rising big in the sky during the day.
Nice.
You worm your way, sort of buzzing and flying through one of the open glass hatches into this massive greenhouse. It's like full of large plants of different kinds. It's quite like botanical.
Some flowers getting pollinated.
I feel aroused.
Are you doing anything in particular?
I want to see if there's no one in there, or if it's quite quiet. Does it seem if there's no one in there, basically I'm going to turn back into Zook on the floor.
There are a few people in there. There are some nobles kind of like walking around it, kind of looking at it, and it seems to be open. It's open to like people to essentially walk around. There's a couple of people that seem to be working there. They're watering and tending, kind of taking cuttings.
But it doesn't seem like a kind of really private place that I'd be kicked out of.
It doesn't seem like you'd be just kicked out. No, it's like public.
Okay.
Well, it's public to the extent that it's on the upper section of the city, which often isn't.
You might not be allowed.
Common folk aren't really allowed in that section.
Sure. Okay, so somewhere discreet, I'll turn back into Zook, and then I'm going to cast Speak with Plants, and just see if the plants have noticed anything interesting going on, or overheard anything, like see if they kind of mimic or parrot any conversations that have happened in there.
You chat with some like large ferns and some kind of like smaller, more intricate kind of flowers and floral elements. They don't speak like the same kind of language, but you get kind of emotion and sense from them, and you're able to kind of discern that they they're all like really happy. They love it. It's like they're all like, it's so warm, and they're like it's a bath, and they really like it here. And you know, the people that feed them well and take care of them, and the workers here are really nice, and everyone's so nice, and we just love it here, and all this stuff. But they don't really tell you of like anything of great intrigue.
In Zook's mind, he's like, God, these plants are wet.
There's like
You need to see the real world, the wilderness.
There's one like large palm in the corner that you talk to, who's obviously been there a while, and it tells you of the time that a couple of younger nobles broke in at night and did strange acts underneath it, but it doesn't quite understand what
people fucking in bushes.
If nothing else, then I'll see if I recognize any good herbalism plants around the greenhouse.
I will allow you to make a nature check for me, please, to identify anything of use.
Okay. It's a 2 plus 7, so a 9.
Unfortunately not. You spend a while kind of wandering around, but you get too distracted talking to them and kind of just looking at different things. There's a section where it's just full of butterflies. It's like one of those kind of botanical sections where there's just like loads of butterflies everywhere. It's really nice. It's very confusing for you at the same time because it's like a man-made walled city garden space. And but the plants seem really happy and they seem to love it, and they're obviously flourishing in this, like, you know, the sun's coming through and it's being kept, it's, you know, creating this mini environment within it, and you almost kind of marvel at the ingenuity of it, even though it's kind of unnatural.
Yeah, Zook's whole perspective on civilization slightly warms a little bit from that, and I'll buzz out of the window and go get Cinder and find the others.
An arboretum? I hardly even know him.
Richter, what are you doing?
Richter will go to enjoy Richter will step into town, enjoying the festive air and nodding to the townspeople that he's been enjoying helping. He's starting to feel bizarrely at home in this imperial sanctum. But then Richter has a thought. He would like to engage with the festival to some extent. So Richter heads off and then returns with 2 chairs. He places one down and then another facing the other and sets up a caricature drawing stall. Who would like a caricature drawn? Please note, these are not flattering portraits. They are funny.
Are you charging?
No, I am not charging. This is but one of the many things I would like to offer to this fine city and its wonderful people. Please sit, friend. Let me do a sketch of you.
Make me a performance check for you doing this. I assume you're doing it for quite a while.
Oh, not just yet. Say again, sorry?
I assume you're doing it for a bit, like a few people and stuff, right? Not just this one.
Yes, that I am.
Roll me a
so I will. Performance. It has rolled as a 19.
Very good. 19 plus, or you already added?
No, 10 up to 19.
Oh, very good. Yeah, you spend like the first part of the day doing caricatures for people. Some of the nobles that
here's you wearing roller skates.
They're like they're great. They're really, really, really good. People are loving them. I'm
really going to accentuate this elf's ears.
Yeah, people think it's great, and some nobles even palm you some gold. You make a total of 13 gold from just people wanting to give you some money for it.
This is amazing.
Wanting to.
Thank you.
As you're sitting there sketching away, you can see near you there is like what looks to be a tent set up with a mystic within it. There's an old lady with a crystal ball who's sort of doing card readings and palm readings and tarot and stuff. And she comes over and gets you do a sketch, and she says in return she will read the bones for you. She ushers you into the tent.
Please, madam.
So you go into the soothsayer's tent, and within the mystic soothsayer's tent, you can either have your palm read, you can you can do the crystal ball, or you can read the bones. You can choose out of the 3.
Ooh, I feel that I I feel that I should go with the bones. Let's give a dog a bone. Yes,
So,
I will take the bones and hand them to her.
So the way the bones works is you can ask. It's a bit like Commune. You can ask 3 questions and you'll get like a yes or no answer from the bones. Whether or not she's total shit or not is down to you, or whether it's is it real? Is it not real? That's part of this.
Of course.
So she says, "What is your first question, brave paladin?"
Can we expect a peaceful and joyous festival, or will there be trouble?
Oh, She takes the bones and scatters them out on the table. Yes. Most joyous the festival will be. Most joyous. There will be some minor rabble-rousing, but mostly it will be a joyous festival. What is your next question? As she grabs the bones once more. There's like, some teeth and some various sort of bone implements.
Does my sister fare well?
Your sister. Let us see. She throws them out once more. I see your sister. Yes. Beautiful she is. She fares well. A beautiful maiden. Indeed, I see. She is adventuring and setting off on her own. And she is.
Yes.
She is doing well. She is. She says she's enjoying herself very much. She takes the bones up once more, puts them in the bag. What is your third question, my dear?
My third question. Has Bren found any more stones?
The room gets dark, almost like the shadows begin to kind of group around you. As all you see is like a light, a small beam of light come down. The candles all blow out as her eyes look down, and she says, sorry, was it Bren? Repeat the question.
Has Bren found any more stones?
Yeah, her eyes close. She scatters the bones once more. I see, yes. The one you speak, the one known as Bren, has. Hot fire burning. He has found it, but he has not claimed it. He has not. He has not. And she's like, and the flames kind of, and the candles come back on, and she finds herself. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure what happened there. She scoops the bones up and puts them in the bag and ties them.
That's Professor Trelawney.
I'm closed for this evening. You're going to have to leave now. And she kind of shoos you out and closes the curtains of her tent and zips them up.
Thank you, good lady.
Rufus, what are you up to?
Rufus, after infusing the other two with the runes and just sort of looking around, and as everyone leaves the lion's perch to go out, doing their own thing in the town, he kind of is left in the room, suddenly aware that he has free time and that he doesn't know what to do with this and feels very uncomfortable. He starts to get very sweaty hands and he paces the room. He says, sort of out loud to himself to try and calm himself, What am I supposed to do now? I suppose I should enjoy myself.
Revel.
I haven't done that for
things that you have done. You turn, and sitting on the stool, you see the king.
You! The king.
'Tis I.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm inside your head. But you have done well, Suncrest. He kind of stands up slowly, looking around the room, slightly confused, comes over and places a hand on your shoulder. The shield will serve you well. Sought out truth. And you have delivered justice where it is due. You shall receive the full power of the shield. It is yours. When you sleep
Could be.
upon the day, you might change it to your will.
My goodness. King? Do you have a name other than the king?
I did long ago. But it escapes me now.
Nonetheless, I thank you for this gift, and I will make you proud. I will continue to strive as a leader should. I shall remember your lesson.
You shall. You shall. It is already written, you see. It's funny, really, how history repeats itself. And he just slowly fades away, and all's left is the chair where he was sitting. You have the power now of the full power of the Aegis Aurora.
Nice.
You can, upon a long rest, choose to change the day.
Amazing. That's cool. Meta-wise, is Zook's illusion still up?
It was 10 days since the day I cast it.
So it will come. It will end today at some point. It would have been, or would have been yesterday. We'll say for the sake of storytelling, it will end today at some point.
Okay, interesting. Okay, Rufus, with that the king disappearing, again finds himself alone in the room. Revel. He told me to revel. Now I have a purpose, and I can revel with ease. And his fists clench, and he strides out the room. I shall revel.
Party with purpose.
I shall enjoy this day to its fullest. Find me a street game. And he heads out into the street.
So there's a few things happening. You can see there's an archery competition being set up. There is various betting and card and drinking games that are happening, as well as a theatre production that is being set up. They're calling for volunteers in this theatre production if you would so like to join.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
Time to roleplay and roleplay.
Today is the day that I shall disembark my comfort zone, and I shall take the stage.
Okay. You sign up to be part of the theatre production, and the guy who's sort of leading it is it's like a group of mummers, and he immediately is kind of like he's this half-elf gentleman with a sort of a spiked goatee. My lord. Well, you shall of course play an important role. The only thing left, though, I'm afraid, is the fool.
Fool, eh?
I can maybe change some things up. You could play the brave knight if you wish. I was to be playing that myself. Can I help?
Nay.
Can I help you, Michael Thomas? Wait, by the way, when you call me, it will come up on stream because it comes through the computer. Are you all right? Do you need to go?
No, just check your messages when I call you, bro. We do it every time. I just need you to look at your messages.
Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, we'll have a quick break after Rufus's bit.
Yeah.
Nay, young mama. I play the brave knight in real life. Today I will play the fool. It will do some good for the people to see someone from the family embarrass themselves for once.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, Christoph does that on the regular, and all of the other mamas begin laughing, and he's like, hoping that you're going to laugh too.
Rufus chuckles along. Isn't that just the truth?
Right then, okay, well, I'll give you your lines. Take this scroll. There you go. You better memorize them now. See, you're in scenes 5, 6, and 8. An important role.
Right. Right. Okay.
So I
can do this.
I need you to roll me an intelligence check for your memorizing your lines.
Intelligence check. Where is intelligence?
Just straight up intelligence.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. Okay. The time comes about. You're in the back. There's some people in the back that get you into your costume. They do your
Wait,
makeup.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do the James Gifford's magical archivist glasses help with this in any way?
No, it's only with like study. It's with history and what is it? History and
I don't know.
Arcana, I think.
Didn't I send a picture thing? It's Arcana.
I think it was Arcana and history.
Yeah, it's Arcana and history.
Okay.
So unfortunately,
cool. All right, carry on.
They powder your face, making it like a, almost like a mime-esque kind of. You wear the classic kind of tartan patchwork quilt of the fool. You have leggings and little shoes that kind of twirl around. They have to kind of cinch it in a bit for your gnomish form, but you look the part. I'll say that the gypsies are informed. Word spreads that Rufus is participating in a play, and you all congregate after your various doings to watch this performance. There are chairs kind of stacked out, and many people are kind of coming in. There's a stage that's sort of erected. And eventually, the narrator, the half elf you saw before with the goatee, comes on stage and begins telling the story of the princess and the tomato. A beautiful story about what seems to be a princess. It's a dude. It's a half-orc dude dressed in like a voluptuous, bosomy milkmaid sort of outfit that has a long sort of wig and blusher, and is like sort of in her tower. And along comes this prince, this noble knight. The noble knight comes and slays many beasts. And the first scene in which the fool is in enters. This scene is the first scene in which Rufus. Unfortunately, you're 9. You're going to have to make up your lines because you cannot remember them. So this is much more fun.
Nice.
The scene is the noble knight has just slayed a demon of some kind and is still heading towards this tower. And you appear as his kind of aid, his to keep his spirits up. And this scene is about you. He's down. He doesn't think he can continue, and you have to essentially pep talk him to continue on. The knight sits there as you enter stage left, and there's a small kind of cheer from the crowd. The noble knight turns and looks to you and is like, "There's no time for it now, fool. My day is done. I must turn back." I said I must turn back.
But hark, noble knight, you cannot turn back. You have many things to achieve still. Think of the princess. Think of the tomatoes.
He sort of looks towards you. Yes, the demon.
Richter's losing it.
Yes, the demon was dangerous, fool. But I must turn back now. My courage is lost, and my maiden, she is no more. What will I do when I get to her if I am cowardly as so?
Then you shall think of me, a paragon of confidence, a noble knight inside. You shall channel my energies.
I'd like you to make me a performance check, please.
Oh, it's 18 plus 7, so 25.
With a twirl and a flourish, there's like, as you raise your hand up, a large kind of metal cannonball hits the ground, although it wouldn't be a cannonball. Some metal stuff hits the ground behind stage, creating kind of like a clap of thunder. You flourish doing your line, and the crowd begin to kind of laugh and cheer. People are cackling, spilling drinks on themselves. You are right, fool. You are right. And he gets up. The day is not done. Onward, onward, come, fool. And you begin kind of jogging with him off stage. The play...
As I'm jogging behind him, I'm going to cast Alter Self at will and turn myself into an enormous tomato with legs and run behind him.
The half elf comes to you backstage and he's like, that were brilliant, but you're not the tomato. That's going to confuse people. Remember, she falls in love with the tomato at the end. But what if you were the tomato? Brilliant. We'll go with that. Okay. And he kind of scrawls some things on your bed. The play continues, and eventually the noble knight reaches the tower, climbs it, rescues the princess. There's some great scenes with the half-orc, who is absolutely hilarious. The kind of big kind of sacks of whatever it is, grain, begin to kind of spill out at certain points from his bosom.
Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Hey!
And there's a few more scenes with you which go down spectacularly. But on the way back comes one of the final scenes where the tomato, he's written in the tomato, the jester reveals himself as the tomato and steals the princess away. So you're walking along and the princess says, "Well, I hope that no one comes and steals my heart in this dark and dangerous foray," as he looks towards the audience.
Can
Don't
I
worry,
just
my maiden. I shall
in the
take you home and ravish you.
in the crowd, can I just cast hallucinatory terrain and turn the entire audience area into a tomato crop?
Yeah.
Like looking around like
the people are like losing their mind and like this amazing and they
This is
look
the best
towards
play
you
ever.
for your moment.
I love the theatre.
The theatre.
Theatre sucks dick. Have you ever been to see a fucking action film?
Everyone turns to you, Dutch, in the crowd as you say this, and just shakes their head and says, "Shh, shh."
Rufus roars a mighty roar from the side of the stage, and once again alters self into a large tomato, and then rolls as fast as he can onto the stage, colliding with the Prince Charming.
What is this foul beast? And he draws his wooden sword, and the crowd cheer.
A small face of the fool emerges from the skin of the tomato. It is I, your fool, and this princess's true love. And then the tomato changes slightly to become a heart-shaped tomato.
The half-orc like recoils back in this like dramatic way. More grain begins to kind of spill out from his dress. Oh my heart is love-struck for this tomato. And he looks at the audience. People begin laughing. I'd like you to roll me a performance check as you go into combat with the valiant knight.
That was a 4 plus 7, so whatever that is, 11.
An 11. There's a few times where you kind of slip and fall, and he goes to strike you, and he has to kind of pull his blow, but people just love it anyway, and they're like crying with laughter. The fight finally finishes with you doing a flourish and thrusting your blade through. There's like some pig's blood that sort of spurts out the side from a sack as the brave prince dies in the most sort of dramatic way on stage, and the crowd begins to cheer as you and the half-orc embrace. The half-orc picks your little tomato form up and begins like furiously making out with you. He's got big tusks, and the curtain drops, or the curtain that kind of exists on this small stage, and everyone's up on their feet. They're like cheering, they're going crazy. One of the halfling actors from before who played 2 halflings were inside the demon, kind of go round gathering donations and coins and stuff. And people just kind of
Richter's putting 3 gold into that basket. That was the best show he's ever seen in his life.
You do the bows, and the narrator comes back on, and the half-orc and the brave prince lift you up, Rufus, in your tomato-y form above everyone, and people cheer as you kind of drop back down, and he says, "Ruthless Suncrest, everyone! Ruthless Suncrest!" And people are like, "What? It was Ruthless Suncrest all along!" And people are like losing their mind.
This is fucking great.
The gypsies who are kind of looking on. You turn to your right, Zook, as you're kind of like clapping, and you see Christoph and Yasha like standing in the crowd with some guard around them. And Christoph's eyes are just like wide, his jaw is just down, and Yasha is just like clapping, like loving it, like all whistling and clapping, and just like pumping the air. He turns and informs you that the time is nearly nigh in which you need to make your way to the Elven Embassy if you are to go. And with that, we will have a short break.
All right. Outstanding performance.
I think everyone can earn an inspiration point from today's festivities.
Thank God, because I just used one. That's amazing.
And we will have a short break.
Cool.
Right, I'm going to go microwave.
Yep. I need to make a drink.
Dinner's in the chat. All those that are watching, we want to know what you're having for dinner. Dinner's in the chat, please.
Chris has already given us a shout out for the production value of the play, I think.
I mean, and we got BAFTA goes to Ruthless Suncrest, definitely. That was great. So much fun.
So good. Sound of Yogi says, people gonna talk about this play for generations, and I agree. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a most memorable moment for us all, I think.
Oh God.
That's great. That was very, for a campaign that does edge on the serious side, some welcome comedic relief.
Yeah. I think we've all been in that. I think we're just all in that mood today where we just want hype train for everyone's shit and shenanigans.
I love.
Someone's like, I'm going to do this dumb thing. Everyone's like, "Yep, how can I help? Guidance, bless, go."
So
it's the fuckery.
Amelia's been playing The Witcher.
Yes.
She just recently did the bit where Geralt does that play.
Oh yeah.
And it's and so I was like, I've got to put that in as an option because that would be hilarious. And it was literally like the best thing ever. That's
I failed that so hard when I did that quest as well.
Yeah, so did I. Amelia chose the right options completely. Because you can, what's he called? The like changeling guy, the doppelganger guy, Doppler, whatever his name is.
Dudu,
yeah.
Dudu.
Yeah, I think he got fucked up in my campaign because I chose the wrong options.
I think he always gets beaten up, but I can't remember. I just did all the wrong ones. Like, I'm a witcher, and I'm come to steal your kids.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Boo, Witcher, get out of here!" That's what's so great about those games, though, because Geralt's this like. He's all like, I'm cool and I'm badass. But at the same time, he's like, I'm cool and I'm badass, but I'm really lame. That's what's so great. Like,
and he's always involved in really silly things.
Yeah. Like a lot of games are really like with a main character that isn't, a nameless your own character. They make them really serious and badass. And I just always found that so great about that because he's really robotic and kind of he would have really low charisma, except with sorcerers. Yeah. Sorcerers are like, I don't know, they fucking love him. But other than that,
that's more for his sheer body prowess. I feel like
I think he can roll persuasion on sorceresses with strength.
With strength, yeah. He's man meat, nothing else.
Yeah, he literally is. Yeah, that's hilarious. Actually, it's more the other way around, really, isn't it? They're persuading him. Like, Amelia did the quest where, like, you end up having sex with Triss. And she didn't even want to. She ended up just doing it. And I like, played through that and never managed to actually get to that bit. I, like, failed it somehow. And it comes up with a big quest failed when you don't do the bit like the sex bit. And she was like, what the fuck? That's so fucked up that it says failed quest like when you don't do it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that is. But when I played it, when I failed the quest, I was like, oh fuck, damn it. So I sat and watched through her do the sex scene with Triss because I'd never done it. And I was like, oh nice. new content. But yeah.
So that's how it went down.
Yeah. Amelia was like so shocked. She was like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" She was like, "Geralt, what?" It's really funny.
Was that her first one?
Yeah, it was on with Triss. And then the others, she was like, "I don't want to do that." She really hates Kira Metz. She was like, "Fuck you, Kira Metz. I don't want to do your missions." And she doesn't like Yennefer.
Or you.
Either. She told there's that bit in fucking the island Skellige where you can like say, oh, I love you, like you confess your love for Yennefer. Amelia said that she didn't love that she didn't the Geralt he didn't love her anymore. Which is great because I never did that. She just was like, nah, fuck you, I don't love you anymore, Yen.
Cold.
I'm gonna grab something and then we'll carry on.
Go for a quick
I remember there was a very particular scene with a unicorn.
Oh god, yeah.
Gallagher. Yeah.
In the tavern, something.
Yeah.
In Ard Skellig. I'm gonna go for a quick wee.
Me too. Wine.
Rum, pum. Ooh,
He's back.
ooh. Someone delivered me a gift.
What is it?
Mochi.
Oh! How's
Oh.
the pup? Is she alright?
She's good. Yeah, she's very excited. I just walked out and she was in the corridor going like,
Hey, what's up?
I think she likes these evenings because she gets to like nestle in with her gals. And,
Yeah, she does.
gets a lot of body heat.
Are we on the mute or?
I think the stream's muted. I think we're still on
Yeah.
video. Oh, I got some sweet neck oils.
On the G&Ts.
Nice. How many have you had?
I'm on my third.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to crack a third.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'll probably have 2 beers, and then I have like between 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's so easily done.
It's like, oh no, they're delicious. Especially
Yeah.
these kind of sessions where you're like, we're fucking around. It's a laugh. Oh,
I
that
have to start
performance.
smoking weed, to be fair, like because it's a bit too. I was saying I might have to start smoking weed instead of drinking.
I can't imagine trying to do dice. Dice addict.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like,
It's great.
remember when we were playing in our old flat in Victoria
Yeah.
Grove at
Yeah.
the beginning?
Oh
I
god,
used
yeah.
to be high so much of the time when we played. It was very hard to pay attention to what was happening.
I mean, I'm not saying anything about being high and playing D&D. Other than,
Got my
I
DM
think-
t-shirt on today.
oh wait, shit, there's a child listening. Fuck.
What?
Don't do drugs.
We're muted right
No,
now.
we're muted.
No,
we're muted.
we're
Mike.
not muted. We've been on.
Oh! No, it's fine.
Oh no.
What's he been saying? Oh no.
Been saying nothing. It's fine.
It wasn't me, actually. It wasn't even me, Tashi. So, fuck you.
Right, welcome back. Wait, is Aiden back? He's not back yet, is
Nay.
he?
He's making some food, I think, so he's a little bit behind us.
This has been my favourite session in a fucking while.
It's fun.
We've had a real stream streak, a great streak of,
Yeah.
and it has been a stream streak as well of
Yeah.
sessions.
I think because we're playing so regularly again, we're all really it does take a while to really get into the like, oh yeah, I remember where we are story.
Yeah.
We keep going.
Yeah, probably like 5 sessions or something before
It's
you're
like,
really
yeah,
like,
it's literally like
woo!
45, and then
I'm
we're
hyped for
in.
this.
Tashi, have you seen the message I sent you?
What before the
Uh,
break?
Yeah, just before.
How much money did Christoph pay?
Yeah.
It's also really fun interacting with random people. Like,
Yeah, I like just RP
Yeah.
down stuff. It feels way more low level again, like, you know,
Yeah,
just
it
experiencing
feels
town.
fresh.
Yeah.
I can't
I think
remember
that too, but
exactly
I was
what
talking
said.
about random people on Twitch. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's also great. Does everyone remember? You all got like, it was like 500 gold each or something. Was that?
Yeah.
Was it 500 gold
Was
each?
it? Oh
Yeah.
shit, it was.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
It was 500 gold
That's
each.
what I
Yeah.
thought.
Oh, so remind Richter.
Oh man, can I retcon actually? Would Zook do maybe a bit of shopping to see if anyone had any elemental water?
Oh, roll me an investigation check.
Hey! It's a 19.
It's a 19. Right, now roll me a percentile.
Okie dokie, we're going blue. 39.
Unfortunately not. No one has any
Ah.
elemental water.
Uh,
You
would
ask
that-
about, but it's not a common thing at all.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
No.
very hard to find.
What's the situation with Brother Draug, Dylan's condition, it being the full moon and everything?
Right, yes, good point. So
Oh, shit! I'm fucking the fuck out of you. This is going to be fun.
So, as the full moon begins to rise, and the sun begins to set, you feel the familiar monthly urges overtake you, and although you've been through months where this has happened, you're forced into the form, and essentially it lasts for the duration of the time that the moon is up.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You transform, watching the play. As the moon begins to rise, but you are in control of your faculties.
Okay.
But you're just permanently in it.
Yeah. Is it like more? Am I more feral than?
Currently, you feel the same.
Okay.
But
I'll need a mirror.
but yeah, you'll have to see.
I would like to, for the last bit of the play, maybe just like skulk off to the temple of Saloon.
Well, saying that, it's basically time to leave if you're going to leave. So there might.
Okay,
be
no,
time in that case.
No, that's fine. I'll stay. I'll stay with.
Christoph turns to you, and he said, "Uncle," he comes over. That was quite something. You sure made a fool of yourself, Uncle, though.
I sure did. And take it as a lesson, Christoph. A leader should often see themselves on the same level as the people they rule.
Right.
You should give it a try sometime.
Well, I can imagine it. We're not actually on their level, you know. But anyway, I'll oversee the town. Celeste is going to Xanthar City and said that you might be going too, and to negotiate something to do with some boring stuff.
Yes, I can imagine that you would find it quite boring. Best you stay here, as she said, and keep things running smoothly.
Yes, I met with Finea Quell. Finenia Quell, sorry. The Cardinal of the Lunar Gate. Awful lady. She's given as a given. She's imposed as a new Quell since Salvir died in the attack on the Grand Loom.
Did we know that?
No, you didn't know that. Not until now.
They died.
Yes,
in the explosion.
Buried on the stage, too. You saved me and Celeste, but I mean, I didn't like him anyway, really.
Oh, right. Okay. So, who's the new one?
Oh, some elf. Another Quell. I've forgotten their name already. Sent from Xanthar. Some younger elf, more plucky. I think we could probably mold them a little bit, maybe. Very fresh, eager, very keen. Yeah, It's all right. Yash has already seen to them. Anyway, Uncle, good luck. I suggest you, if you are going to go, heading to the embassy quick, sharp. I've already said my goodbyes to my dearest.
Indeed. I'll gather the others now and make our way there.
Oh, one more thing, Uncle. And he gingerly kind of steps forwards and gives you an awkward hug.
I pull him in and I pull him in and squeeze him hard.
Yes. Oh, strong for being so small, Uncle. Thank you, Uncle. Sincerely. I would be dead if it wasn't for you, so you have my...
That's right. I give him a knowing nod. Don't you forget it. Now.
I won't, okay.
Now, where are my gypsies? And I
Come,
go off and Find
come on,
them.
Yasha. And she's like, don't fucking... I'm not your dog, as they walk off back towards the Sun Keep. You gather the gypsies.
Yeah, is everyone here?
And you're all there. You clean out. I'll say you clean out of your makeup and costume, and you get back in your.
An incredible show, Lord Mayor.
Thank you kindly.
That was quite something, Brutus.
I hope at the very least it made some people smile. I know I'll be having nightmares about it for many days.
Dylan stands there. You can see he's hulked out a little, and his voice comes forwards, obviously in the kind of gruffer, the voice from before, but there's almost a kind of a slight snarl as you talk, an uncontrollable kind of like, yes, yeah, quite, like a little bit.
Oh, Dylan. I look up towards Dylan, who's now, I have to strain my neck even more to look up at him. Of course, it's the full moon. I forgot. Are you quite okay? Are you quite all right?
I feel fine. I'm in control of myself at least, but
Okay.
these things are.
That's good to know. Maybe don't go towards any animal pens or small children.
I'll keep my my hood lowered, just to not scare
Right.
anyone, Rufus.
For the best.
How transformed are you, Dylan?
I don't know. What does the DM say?
Describe your normal transformation for them.
So, not how you would imagine a fully, like a proper werewolf from,
like Van Helsing.
Yeah. So not like covered, or like not covered in hair. Still, so like, still taller than Brother Draug, Dylan. More muscular, more broad, and but definitely not like completely wolf-like. The hands are still slightly clawed. The face is slightly elongated a little bit, and there are definitely fangs, but you can still see the same facial features of Brother Draug that you know.
Go Team Jacob.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere like sort of between.
So what you see is, imagine that, but like a little bit further. So it's not just elongated; it's kind of comes out a little bit. There's almost a
snouty,
but not like long. It just comes out slightly. There's fur, but kind of beardy kind of fur around his face.
Is the end of his nose moist?
It's a little darker, yeah.
Oh.
The fangs are kind of more pronounced in the mouth. Like all his teeth are almost.
Like he's filed them down. Oh wow.
His the backs of his hands you can see have a kind of downy kind of fur to them.
Got to stop playing with yourself, mate.
Even his legs look as though they've got that. His feet have kind of extended.
The heels are up, and and slightly more hunched, perhaps.
Yeah. Your shoulders are definitely over a little bit more, and his breathing is just kind of,
he's looking distinctly lupine.
Yeah, he smells like a dog as well.
You know what you described is every.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody loves a dog smell.
So, are you heading towards the Elven Embassy, or are you gonna shoot off elsewhere?
I gather the others, everyone's around us now. So gypsies, what do? We either leave now and head to Xanthar, or we go elsewhere.
Well, what calls us to Xanthar?
Dylan, I know you have a letter. You have a meeting.
I don't think I've disclosed this, but that's fine.
Oh, have you not?
You have disclosed it with the group. You told.
I? Okay.
You told Dutch, but
I told Dutch.
But then I think it came up in a group conversation. But
Okay.
I'll say
Dutch is a
Richter-
gossip, so we all
Richter
know.
won't remember it. So you can repeat it for Richter's sake anyway.
Huh?
I do have
Guess
a reason to be in Xanthar. And I'm afraid it cannot wait.
time is short with these situations. So
Well, that
if you
settles
wish
it.
to go,
Where our
then
brother goes, we go.
we shall follow.
But I appreciate that, but I mean, you do not have to come if you feel you must stay.
It's a big city. They're dangerous places.
Zook chowing down on a little like ice cream with wrapped in a little bit of like sticky rice. He's like, I'm getting used to civilized life. I'll go to another city happily. It's got stuff like this. Whoa.
Oh, I know where that was. Yum yum.
What
What flavour, Rupert?
Coconut. It's
Oh,
so good.
it's got like the coconut coating as well. Like
Oh,
little bits of
desiccated.
Oh,
Yeah.
got two. Oh.
Oh my god. it's good.
I came back in and there was just a bowl with two in it
Oh my
on my
God.
chair.
Okay, in that case, you all begin to head towards the Elven Embassy. You can see there's a procession outside the embassy, and there's a crowd that's beginning to gather to wave off Celeste on this day, on this great day, Saloon's Day. The moon, the sun now kind of down, but there's still light in the sky. The moon is large. And its light is already kind of like shining down across Soulreach, hitting all of the various glass chandeliers and small hanging things from all the houses, the various roofs that have the kind of glass panels on, refracting all of the light around. You can see the name that this place was given, the Glinting Province. Yeah, they really try and keep to that. And you can see standing on the steps the tall figure with the kind of flourished feather, like extravagant priest wear, the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate. As well as standing to her side, you see Celeste dressed in also kind of more Xanthar style finery. It's less of her kind of demure whites and blues and silvers. It's still the same color, but there's the shoulder pads kind of spike up in a quite extravagant elf-like fashion. She has
Eleganza.
yeah, it's like a Jacobean ruff, but it's what's that Elizabethan, like the back panel that's
Elizabethan
like
eleganza.
yeah, it's very much like that. It's like bejeweled and stitched and woven and kind of quilted, but it's this blue
Corset?
and white.
Ice cream cone.
No,
for
it's
your
like
neck.
around the back of the head. It's like Elizabeth.
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
Like a fancy
just
neck
like-
braid.
Sort of like
Right,
a ruff,
like a
but
like a
big
peacock.
Back.
Yeah, a bit like a peacock thing. It's like a big collar, but it goes around the back.
Looking very fine.
And
Stupid.
and she's clutching in her arms a swaddled babe of some kind. People are like, looking and whispering to each other, and you begin kind of pushing your way through the crowd. You see flanking the doors to the Elven Embassy both of the Inquisitors, the strange creatures, just standing there. Their kind of metallic heads just kind of moving across the scene. Richter wouldn't have. Did I describe it for you, Richter? Were you there when I described these things?
I don't know if I was there. No, I remember Dutch had a bit of got a bit shook. I don't know if I was there. So
yeah,
Richter is kind of like awestruck.
They're these. But were you there when I described what they looked like?
I was there.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, it's fine.
I was
Forgot
present.
whether
Yeah.
you were there or not.
Be they giants? Oh.
You break through the crowd and you can see Celeste, as well as there's lots of guards there. They see you, Ruthus, and they let you pass. And you begin to ascend the steps together as the five of you. The Cardinal of the Lunar Gate kind of clears her throat, looking out across the people. She says, "It is Saloon's day, and by the light of this moon, Saloon's moon, we are blessed. This blessing," and she turns, gesturing towards the babe, "gifted to us, shall take a pilgrimage to Xanthar City, to the capital of your empire, to be blessed. Enjoy this day. Enjoy this night. For tomorrow is anew." And keeping it brief, she turns and heads into the Elven Embassy. Celeste turns and follows, looking towards you as kind of the guard kind of begin to escort you up into the embassy. The embassy building itself is like a larger version of the Mirial in Miri. It's like that kind of elven spires, kind of twisting, like a pale cream-coloured marble-like structure. It's like a walled kind of key shape with one tower, central tower in the middle of this kind of walled circular bit within it. As you are walking, the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate kind of turns, coming into kind of talking range with you, Ruthus. She, without looking down at you but still addressing you, says, "Your actions have been noted by the Empire, Ruthus Suncrest."
Have they now? It's interesting to know that they do pay attention.
Well, you are one of the Empire's subjects, after all. And she kind of picks up her pace slightly to move out of conversation range with you. You enter the tower within the Elven Embassy. And you can see there are other kind of priests following her. She sort of has like a procession almost. There are priests carrying those like paper parasols that are like white and blue. They're almost like painted like the swirl of moonlight on the top, and they're kind of walking either side of her, twisting them. The Inquisitors move with creepy silence along with this procession, and you enter the tower. My iPad is live with all my notes. Nice.
Oh no!
I've got my charger right here.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Does this seem weird? Does anything about
Make it all up on the
like
spot.
feel odd?
Roll me an insight check.
Okay, I will. It's a 10.
I mean, it's kind of very formal, but you don't feel. I mean, you feel kind of like on edge because of these Inquisitors and just their presence, and also the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate is an imposing figure anyway. But other than that, no. You can't.
Is there anyone else around us who sort of stands out, who might be sort of like suspicious, like looking?
Roll me a perception check.
19.
The people within here seem to be. I mean, there's not a huge amount of people within the Elven Embassy, but obviously today there seems to be, and there's a lot of people that look to be kind of followers of her and are priests. There also looks to be other elves that are carrying kind of papers within the tower that look to be more like diplomats and sort of archivists, kind of that kind of type, more like scholars than priests. And they have a slightly different robe, but there's, you don't see anyone hiding around corners or on the rooftops or, anything that seems out of place in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You file into the central chamber within the tower on the lowest floor. There's like a sort of marble circular area right in the middle where you can see embedded there are these like glyphs into the stone.
Is there a similar gate in the Mirial?
A similar gate?
Like a teleportation?
No, there's not.
No, okay.
She steps forwards, turning. Celeste kind of walks forwards onto this, as well as her kind of retinue. The Inquisitors step to the sides, still within the perimeters of this arcane glyph. Do you follow?
Yeah.
You all step within.
While this is happening, can I know your enemy on the Inquisitors?
Oh yeah, you can, sure.
Can I just suss them out?
So you choose two things. What two things do you
and then it's like superior, inferior, equal.
Yeah.
AC.
What's yours?
22.
Inferior.
Oh.
And hit points. I'm 109.
Oh, more than. What's the word?
Superior.
Superior.
Supreme.
Yeah, not many
Quite
things has an AC of 22.
That's
Dick size.
You step within this grand sigil on the ground, and you see the people who are staying kind of stepping back, watching. Celeste, seeming kind of nervous, stands by Eurythus, clutching her babe, and the Cardinal raises a hand, casting something about her. You wait, takes a bit of time, but they ritually cast what looks to be a glyph onto the ground beneath. The glyph begins to ignite with a kind of blue light, and you watch as the glyph that they've placed connects with the larger engraved glyph across the ground, spreading out to encompass a much larger area. And there's a kind of sucking, pulling noise as the room kind of and changes. And within a few seconds, feeling kind of sick, you stand within a different chamber.
What?
You look about you, and
Zook,
a similar.
I think I prefer your treat.
A similar glyph is etched into this marble floor. It's again a circular, like room, but above you it stretches up a tall, pinnacled tower. All around are various archways with people bustling about. You can see. You can see younger elves moving about, carrying stacks of books and various things. You appear in the middle of this large chamber, and there's already what look to be like guard and a retinue sort of awaiting you here. Before you are two huge doors that have been pushed open, and you can see beyond the night sky. Although here it would be later, so it's now dark. There's stars, although it's very light from this large moon. You can't see the moon from here, but you see out, down some steps and across an expanse of a city. Dylan and Dutch, roll me either a history knowledge check or just a straight intelligence check. It would be the same actually. So roll me a history.
oh good.
I got 12.
Got a 4.
Okay. So. I mean, you both immediately recognize it as Xanthar City. Welcome to Xanthar City. You Dutch recognize ish where we are from some of the taller buildings.
Yep.
You recognize that you are in what looks to be the second ward.
Okay.
So very central, almost in the heart of the inner city. You can see from where you are, dead ahead, is the Andriont, which is essentially the main central area, which includes the Mages University, the Senate, which is where you are, the palace, the military ward. That's all encompassed. It's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of those wards in that central area is in the Andriont, which is essentially like the most privileged and upper area. You've only come into this area a handful of times. You remember crossing one of the large bridges to the Andriont and bumping into a young novice mage carrying what looked to be a glass container full of dragon semen or dragon something or other.
Can I remind my brother of this?
You can.
Well, remember when we saw her, she had that big bucket full of jizz.
Which was Spera, by the way.
Yeah. Rufus's daughter.
You point out sort of where you are.
What was she doing with that?
You've been fucking dragons. Your daughters are home.
As you know, Rufus, Spera was sent to the Mages University here in the Andriont, in the center of Xanthar City, and studied.
Yeah.
You step out along with the procession, and it looks to be the procession goes down the steps, and there is a crowd of people. The city, I mean, Zook, your mind is just blown at the scope. The Andriont itself is higher up in the city, higher than most things. There are other kind of hills across, but in the darkness and just this large moon, it's just lights as far as the eye can see. You can't see an end to like the lights.
Sweet root of elm and oak.
The small amount of cloud that is in the sky is illuminated from beneath with the kind of light pollution from like oil lamps, from various mage candles and other kind of magical lanterns. You see across various towers, larger kind of buildings. You can see you turn to your right, and the only section, suddenly the lights cut off, and with your high passive perception, you can see the lights of what look to be bobbing ships out across an ocean to your right. The procession seems to be headed through the Andriont towards the kind of towards the palace, which is where sits the Great Lunar Temple. It would seem that that's where the procession is heading. So you're kind of walking with this procession. There's loads of people kind of watching you in this procession.
Tashi?
What are you saying to each other? Yes.
I feel like such an idiot, but is it possible we can say that before we went to the teleportation event that I had revisited Strogner the Red Spire?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to bring that up. Yes. Yeah, we can definitely.
Oh, okay.
So,
great.
Oh, yeah, I'll quickly describe. So your armor is now, it's a +1 plate.
Booyah!
You get it back. It's essentially he's put these like silver bands into it.
Such
He's
work.
pimped
I
it-
remember
he's-
saying to him,
He's pimped it up, and he has forged you a helm.
marvelous.
The helm is quite in kind of like our world terms. It's quite centurion. It's
Yes,
like,
that's exactly what I wanted it to
it's
be.
like, you know, got that Spartan style cut into it.
Got like a mohawk on it.
There is a mohawk, although it's not like, you know, a huge one,
No.
like that sticks up. But
No, it's not like a herald.
There is a small one. It's white, and the helm itself has been painted. It's been painted like a white color, with where the kind of bolts that hold it together and the bands, they're silver.
Fabulous. Thank you. I'm wearing it.
That is
Right.
fucking baller as fuck.
So you follow this procession through the Adriant. I'll let you RP a little bit.
I'm gonna float over to Dutch and go, "This is disgustingly big. You never told me it was this big."
Yeah, well, due to the province's location, it was able to accumulate a lot of wealth, and that draws people, and it just happens. It could happen anywhere where there's industry and growth. And thank you very much for the book, by the way. Great read.
You
Loved
finished it?
Yeah, finished it. It's do you want it back or?
If you're done with it, I suppose that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Can I? It's not like a one-use thing. It's like anyone that can read it.
Its magic is gone for a century now. It will come back after a century.
That's all right. I might still be alive.
That's true.
Oh, you could look forward to it. It's a good read.
I'll keep that in mind. Where are we? What is that ocean?
That's not an ocean.
Is it not?
Big pond.
Oh.
Yeah, massive.
Like the Great Lake?
Bigger.
Oh my goodness. That is vast.
And our old house is right on the other side. So if you want to turn into an octopus or something, best get swimming. We'll get a boat and meet you there.
That's incorrect.
You have a house
That's
here?
just incorrect. it is the ocean. You're on
He's
the
fucking
right
with you.
side.
Wow, a pond bigger than the Grand Lake. Amazing. How many people live here?
What? 368,760,002.
Wow. Are you the one doing the counting?
That's a rough estimate given on, the size of the city and the cumulative wealth inside it, yeah.
I think there's more people here than there are insects in my wood.
Yeah, possibly. We have people who go around killing bugs all day so they don't get on the fruit.
Wow.
Full-time job.
It's a hive of swords.
Do we need to worry about your past? What with you being people of ill repute here?
I mean, in a city this big.
It'll be fine as long as, we just keep a low profile.
Speaking of which, Dutch, I can tell it's a fairly cosmopolitan city with, well, you grew up here, but is a Gith Yankee likely to draw any attention here?
Oh yeah, loads of attention. They're massive racists.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. With my helm pulled down, I'm gonna, quietly disguise self back to human Richter.
You continue to follow the procession through the Andriant, and you can see there's many kind of noble people watching on in their various kind of extravagant outfits. People have dressed up for this day, Saloon's Day. You walk through a large kind of courtyard area. It's like an outdoor garden, and you walk down one kind of long avenue with huge statues, statues that are a couple of taverns high. These big statues of various, I don't know, prophets or or old nobles or kings. You're not sure. Some, bear sort of a basket of wealth. Some hold sort of a sword and shield. Some have a hound at their side. They're all
Clavicus Vile.
They're all like very noble and righteous-looking elves. Some stone seems older than others, but it is majestic. It's this kind of courtyard. It's got that kind of white gravel just covering the pathways.
Getting Minas Tirith vibes.
Yeah, kind of Minas Tirith meets like Rome, meets
Athens.
Meets Rome, Athens, but also it's way warmer here. It's like Mediterranean temperature.
Basically, we're in the Bronze Age, and it's freaking me out.
People are wearing wearing sandals. They're not wearing. Most people don't wear trousers.
They better not have socks on as well.
No, most people are wearing sandals. They're wearing kind of like robes rather than like trousers and belt. It's much
breezy.
It's much more breezy, but it's still kind of it got extravagant elements to it. There's lots of feathers and things like that in all the nobles' clothing. You walk for a time through the kind of central area of the palace, and you take a left and head towards the Grand Lunar Temple of Xanthar. You can see it immediately compared to the one that sits in Soul Reach. It's like a six-domed roofed. Imagine what's in Jerusalem. What's the temple with the golden roofed?
The Dome of the Rock.
Yeah, so it's that, but there's like six of them surrounding one big one in the middle. It's like one large moon with all these like miniature kind of spheres around
it's
it.
Like the Dome of the Rock, but the size of the sky.
Yeah, it's like a huge building. Each of the small domes is probably just slightly smaller than the Lunar Temple in Xanthar, and you begin heading towards it. This entire kind of section of the second ward, which is essentially like the Senate.
The Senate.
You head towards it, and eventually you pass through one of the large archways. Each of these domes itself has the same, painted mosaic kind of swirled in a moon shape on the inside. And there's like many more people there kind of clapping and cheering. Clearly that this event has really brought people about. Celeste is really sticking with all of you, looking about. She looks incredibly overwhelmed. As a noble from a town on the outskirts of the Empire, she suddenly seems like a young girl, like her age. You pass through the first dome and into the main central chamber. This chamber is probably the biggest, most vast chamber you have ever stepped foot in. It's probably the size of like an entire section of Agmiri.
Christ.
Is it like when the Lord of the Rings, when the Fellowship are in Moria, and then they're in that room with all the columns?
It's not quite as big as that. That's like fucking massive. It's you can see the other side. It's this huge dome, but in the center, cut in is the roof itself is sections of it are glass, and you can see moonlight is pouring down. The moon now nearly at its zenith. In the center of this vast room, I mean, in this room there are kind of like other small archways, various kind of areas. It's like a bigger space with a larger ceiling, but the whole thing's broken up into smaller sections. But there is that one main corridor that goes through. You can see there are there are kind of many priests moving about. It's like a huge monastery almost, but there are civilians wandering around here, but it still looks to be of you don't see so far any half-orcs, any half-elves, any kind of other races other than human and elf, and it's mainly the two. You do occasionally see some half-orcs that are they're carrying the palanquin with some nobles in it. That's like the only times you see it, and they're dressed up quite nicely. They're wearing nice clothes, but they're grimacing, carrying the weight of this palanquin. In the center of this room, it raises up to be like essentially one of the smaller spheres size. It's like not a pagoda. In a park? There's like a gazebo type thing, where it's like a a roofed open
bandstand.
Yeah, like that, but it's a really big one in the middle with its own
pavilion,
glass pavilion, exactly. And you can see a small crowd of people within the middle of that. It is heavily guarded. There's dozens and dozens, creating a line. You can see these. You assume a palace guard of Xanthar. They wear white cloaks. Their armor is painted a brilliant kind of vibrant aqua blue. And they move apart as the cardinal, as well as the two inquisitors, which you spy. There are a few other inquisitors within certain areas, and people are keeping well away from them. You begin stepping up these steps into the center of the Grand Temple of Saloon. The Cardinal.
Are we?
Yeah.
Sorry. Are we just like kind of going along with it? Like
You're
invited
part of the procession, yeah.
up to the. Okay. Yeah.
You ascend the steps, and you get to a sort of a few steps before the top, where there's another ring of guards, and the Cardinal. They move for the Cardinal. The two Inquisitors move to the sides and flank, and the Cardinal turns towards Celeste, putting a hand out. I'm afraid the rest of you will have to stay here, as she holds a hand towards Celeste. Celeste sort of nervously looks towards you, Ruthus, and then up to the Cardinal.
Is that what you wish, Celeste?
Yes, I'm just afraid.
What are you afraid of?
Afraid of what's going to happen.
Do you know what will happen?
The Cardinal turns and says, "There is no time. Come. It is nearly the zenith."
Insight.
Go for it.
It's a 17 minus 3.
Oh. It's a 14.
They seem impatient. They don't seem to really care too much about her. They're more interested in the child. They're obviously in awe of it.
Right. I think Ruthus feels a bit like, this feels weird, and she feels like she's not safe, but I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, does Ruthus know what's going to happen?
No, not unless you've tried to find out.
Yeah, but it's a very overwhelming situation. I don't feel like we can just suddenly interrupt it and be like, no. Cool. I don't know. I think Ruthus just gives her a nod and says, "Everything will be okay. I'm sure of it."
Make a persuasion check.
Except I'm not.
Sweating.
19 plus
Oh
12.
yeah, silver tongue.
Can't
Wow.
lie, son.
31.
Can't lie.
Oh yeah.
You can
wishful-
reassure.
It's wishful thinking.
But do you truly think that everything will be okay?
No.
Then we'll retcon that. What are you going to say instead?
Everyone's here for you, Celeste. You have more control than you think you do. If you want us to come with you, I'm sure you couldn't make it so.
She turns and says to the cardinal, I need my uncle with me. And the cardinal sighs and says, very well, but the rest will stay here. The cardinal turns and they make space for you and Celeste to ascend to the top step where the plateau is. Leaving the rest of the
As we're
gypsies
walking.
behind. Yes.
I'll just lean into Celeste and say, I gave my word to protect the child. And I mean to do so.
Can I look out into the crowd and just like gaze out at the vast expanse of people? What's on their expressions like?
Roll me an insight.
What do they
check.
look like? Green dice. Oh, it's an unnatural 20.
Ooh.
It's nervous excitement. You look out across this sea of faces. You know, people have poured in from outside, and the vast scope of this. You know, there's this like thrum of noise, of chatter that kind of echoes around inside. There's even that atmospheric perspective. You know, by the time you can see the people at the back, they've become, you know, almost slightly more blue, slightly more faded, just because of the distance. You know, it's that dust that you're looking through, that amount of dust in the air. People seem generally excited, and like they're awaiting a firework display. You know.
I'll turn to Rufus and just give him a little smile.
Rufus and Celeste ascend the steps in front of you all as the ring of guards closes up, and you reach the top. You can see that there are 4 inquisitors up here, standing facing out on all corners of this area. And within, there is a small circle of individuals, all of High Elf, all of Moon Elf. As you approach, the Cardinal bows deeply, and Celeste kind of also follows. Do you bow?
No.
You stride forth, and the figures kind of standing around this central kind of pedestal. One of them in the center, more grand, with what looks to be what is a very plain and simple. Why is this gone? A very plain and simple tiara of probably mithril, maybe, or some kind of like not silver, something. It's like a bluish tinge to the silver metal. A crown. You don't recognize them, but they are old. They're an ancient elf. You can see the deep grooves and lines in their face. Their eyes are kind of sunken in, almost skeletal to an extent.
Wait, for an elf, that's got to be really old, right?
The robes kind of hang loosely about them, like, you know, like there's not much muscle to their bones. One of the figures wears like a kind of cardinal style, but like a much higher kind of bishop style elven kind of hat with these 2 ribbons that kind of come down either side, long white hair around them. Most of them look to be, you assume, like high up in the hierarchy of the empire in general. And the one with the crown, his eyes, move over to you, Ruthus, but seem to pay you no mind and fix upon this child. The one with the large hat steps forth and says, "Thank you, Finanea. You are relieved." And the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate steps back out of the ring. "So, you must be Celeste Suncrest. We have all heard much of you and your child. And you, please, address yourself." They look towards you, Ruthus.
Who, me? My name is Ruthus Suncrest, uncle to Celeste.
Very well. He leans in close, kind of like stooping down over Celeste. "Celeste, you were chosen for this, and all will be fine." He has a warm, almost father-like quality to his voice. "We've come far from the edges of this beautiful empire. If I may, I know it is hard, but may I hold the child?" She kind of nervously gives in and passes him over the blue-haired child. He takes it and he moves over towards the one with the crown. He takes a sort of, a stance of worship in front of this figure. "Please, my emperor, will you not bless this child this day?" The emperor looks down upon this babe, and an almost skeletal hand comes from under the robes. One of the other higher cardinals or bishops comes forward with a small bowl of what looks to be glistening silver-like water, and he pushes it under the emperor's hand. He dips it in and places it across the forehead of the sleeping babe. And they all say their thanks, and the emperor's hand once more goes back to the sleeve. He places the babe on the pedestal in the center, and at this point you can see the moonlight has aligned with the central glass panels and is beaming down sort of through, right down onto this pedestal. All the priests begin to close their eyes as they kind of surround on all sides. The emperor taking a step backwards. You can see through the gaps between the priests, they are all in deep prayer. And you can sense, and those of you with magical abilities can sense a great magic in the air. Almost like the divine strands of this powerful moment as this planet, this moon aligns in a certain way. And a minute goes past of this prayer as the crowd begins to hush. And the moonlight descending in a beam becomes brighter and brighter. And Zook, And Dylan, with your high passive perceptions, you see something descending from this beam of light. Wings spread from the beam as it kind of descends. You see a humanoid form land on the roof of the domed section in the middle of this space. It lifts off and flies around above you. You can see this this chiseled, immaculately muscled humanoid male figure of blue skin, huge plumage of white feathered wings on its back. It has hair that is a beautiful white that flows behind. Its eyes also like a beautiful milky blue. It wears a simple kind of toga and loincloth, and it lands down the side, kind of landing by the priests. The priests, keeping their eyes shut, immediately kind of move back from this central pedestal. Ruthus, you stand with Celeste as you watch this creature, maybe 10 feet tall, stoop down and move past you, its wings kind of furling behind its back, not paying you any mind, as it scoops up the babe, looking down towards it and clutching it. It kisses it upon its forehead. It turns. You stand, by its knees as it surveys all of the people across this area, and then with a whoosh of its wings takes off, circling the great open space as people look up gasping in awe, and it flies up back into the beam of light and up into the sky, fading from view. You can see Celeste, her eyes are welling with tears as she kind of looks up, but she's clutching her small pendant, her crescent moon pendant.
Rufus looks towards Celeste, sudden confusion in his eyes. What's happening? What? It took the child.
Celeste turns to you and says, I was told of this. It was Saruna's taken my child to be one of her guardians.
To do what? What do you mean?
Such a ruthless response.
That's your child.
Let them take the baby.
She nods and says, I know, but it is what it's meant to be.
You're okay with this?
Of course.
Insight.
You're not near.
I'm very confused.
You sense a presence behind you, and you turn and you see the Emperor of the Empire standing above you, his wizened old face kind of peering down towards you. His sunken eyes are they've lost their colour, and he peers down, almost just drilling holes sort of into you as you gaze up towards him. Celeste turns and immediately kind of bows, taking a knee before him. You do not bow.
I think at this point I go to a knee. Just to, placate them.
You feel a hand, a skeletal hand on the top of your head. Just sort of massaging the top of your head slightly. It releases, and you you kind of get up, and you can see all of the cardinals and the bishops standing, their eyes sort of slightly wide.
Do I know what this means? And did it feel good?
It felt like the touch of like a father, like a gentle there, like how you'd show love to a pet or a dog, or a son or a daughter or whatever. The guards sort of open up, and you see the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate approach. She approaches both of you, bowing deeply in front of the Emperor, and kind of ushers you to leave. You begin heading back down the steps towards the rest of the group. Celeste still sobbing quietly, but seemingly happy. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
That was a twist.
That was good.
Ooh.
So we slaughtered Shadows underground just so that some fucking absentee baby daddy could snatch the kid away. That fucking
Sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hate gods. They suck.
Well, we got a favor in our pocket from a god, so that's something.
Yeah. That's always good.
They're all the same. They don't care.
Oh man, it feels like the campaign just got a lot like bigger.
Yeah.
Like everything just got real huge.
We just left the tutorial island.
Yeah.
Divinity.
Level 14.
3 years in, and we're finally out of the tutorial.
Yeah. That's how
The
Tashi
title
runs his
text.
campaigns.
Title text comes up, Fable 4.
Legit, yeah.
Oh wow,
Damn.
Okay.
It was good though. Much.
like angel.
I am fucking nervous about these Inquisitors. I am nervous. It's like a Chekhov's gun thing where, you don't introduce a
bad.
gun in the first act of a play without it being shot later on, and it's like, we're gonna have to fucking tussle with one of these fucking titans, aren't we?
Oh man.
All is
I feel-
never as it seems. Do you not think?
No, dude, if you find him, you're turbo fucked. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
Maybe if we get one on its own.
Expect a fucking.
We could do one. We could do one maybe.
Don't know what the helm does. Maybe it's just immune to like all kinds of mind control.
Anyone
That would be good.
ability knows why I'm fucking shit scared of this thing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
look at you. Oh, you're dead. Just-
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Well, please tune in next week, because we shall be delving into Xanthar City. There is
There's
a few
much to
things
do.
that the Gypsies might still need to tie up some loose ends here before heading back to the west to continue with their ever-growing threat in school.
Fear and loathing in Xanthar.
We haven't lost
We were
the
some-
stone on the volcano though. We know that much, don't we?
Well,
Not yet.
We may
I
have
think
time
we were-
still.
We were somewhere on the edge of the province when the skooma began to kick in.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to dinners in the chat.
Like and
Last
subscribe.
chance.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Go watch the previous episodes. They're all there.
Tell
if
everyone you know.
you're still with us, I don't know if anyone's still with us. So,
if
We
you're
can't
there,
stop here.
we,
This is rock
we can
country.
feel you.
Sound of Yogi's still here, I think.
Very good.
Thanks for joining us, Sound of Yogi. You were
Thank
great.
you, Sound of Yogi. You're a beautiful
Oh,
creature.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
We'll be doing yoga.
Hope
in your
you,
name.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed. All right. Till next time. Good luck, Gypsies of Fortune. Good